Mix it up here in my little bowl. Say a few words and you lose control. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. I'm gonna put a spell on you. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. We're gonna put a spell on all of you.
Hi, everybody. My name is the American Mutant, and today is a special day, a spooky day. It's motherfucking Halloween, motherfuckers. Or well, for
Yeah.
us, it's several days before. Well, not even several days, more like 2 weeks before it. But
Don't break the illusion,
today,
Philip. Today's Halloween. Don't break the illusion.
oh yes, ooh, I'm like the ghost of Halloween's past. Woo! And I
Ooh.
fuck up the dates all the time. But anyway, this is the Bricked Up podcast where we would usually be laying bricks for your algorithm, but today we're laying bricks in your ass. And my co-host today is uh fucking Lego Liam. I forgot your username for a second,
Hey.
aka Liam, and he's gonna help me
Hey.
lay that pipe in your
I'm
ass.
laying the pipe. He's laying the bricks. He's shitting bricks in your ass. Welcome to your colonoscopy, bitches. We're talking today about what are we talking about, Philip? Today on the
Oh my.
Halloween.
So today on Halloween, we last podcast episode and also on the main channel, I believe, we promised the audience that we would cover Scooby-Doo.
Mmm.
Woo! Which, by
Indeed.
the way, is I would say definitely my favorite Hanna-Barbera cartoon, but I would definitely put it in my top five like cartoons of any kind of all time. You
Mm.
know, Scooby-Doo definitely has a special place in my heart, and I'm very happy that we get to cover that specifically for this Halloween episode because by nature, Scooby-Doo is a mystery and spooky kind of show, and it's been around for a fucking long time since 1969.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we have definitely a lot to cover when it comes to the Scooby-Doo content. And I want to put it just a disclaimer. We're not covering every single episode nor every single movie from Scooby-Doo. We're covering like kind of like the general basis of Scooby-Doo. If we did that, we would have had to watch over 600 episodes and over 40 movies related to the Scooby-Doo franchise.
Mm.
That's a lot. You
Mm.
know, I will say it's not as crazy as like The Simpsons or some shit or One Piece, God forbid, but it is a very big undertaking. And there is also a more massive roadblock in getting us to be able to view that. But we will get there when we get there.
Yes, sir. We
And
will.
by God, it is a fucking rant if there were ever to be one. But Liam, we have some other initial things to cover before we get
Mm.
to Scooby Doo. Isn't that correct?
That is correct, because I wanted for us to talk about some of our favorite seasonal Halloween movies. You know, the movies that we decide to put on around this time of the year that we get a kick out of. Maybe some horror movies that we have yet to see, and we find that this is the best time of year to put those on because it's just very thematic. So, Philip, actually, before we get into that, I must say, Philip, happy birthday.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay! Happy birthday for me. Obviously, I'm not going to give out my exact birthday because I don't want my identity stolen. Yay!
Yeah.
But it's in the month of October. Yay!
Yeah. Okay. With that out of the way, Philip, what's some of your favorite Halloween movies to watch around this time of the year?
I would definitely say a lot of those Halloween movies are animated movies.
Mm.
One that really comes to mind is Spooky Godmother. I think that's what that name
Oh,
is.
Scary
It
Godmother.
Scary Godmother, yeah. It's like a shit like by today's standards, and I think even by then standards, it was a pretty like shittily like animated movie that was just like this girl who got bullied, right? And then I
Mm.
think she kind of like became friends with some like monsters and her scary godmother who was just like
Yeah.
this, like kind of friendly just witch who just like took her under her wing and just wanted her to have like a good fucking like Halloween and shit like that. And there was like some other monsters like vampires, a werewolf, a skeleton, a ghost cat. It's a very
Yeah.
like I think there was like maybe one or two movies about that, and it's just like it's just kind of like it's that spooky season when you see that show coming on Cartoon Network. Uh, but I suppose some other ones definitely are like the Halloween specials for like Billy and Mandy, Codename Kids Next Door. I don't know any other ones off the top of my head, animated wise, but like, and I also enjoy like, like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, like the classic spooky movies.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorites that I can think of. But what about you, my co-host? What kind of movies do you that come to mind that when the spooky season comes about?
Oh, I got a range of movies, and I want to let you know that I got elite ball knowledge on Scary Godmother. We watched those DVDs of Scary Godmother and Scary Godmother Jimmy's Revenge like all the time, back to back sometimes. And you're not wrong. The first movie at least, did premiere on Cartoon Network back in like 2003 or 5, I want to say. It's based on a
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it's based on a book series, a children's book series, and I think the original creator is still active, like has a Scary Godmother merch store. A lot of the items on there are also very expensive. I think they're made with top quality material. Yeah, those movies definitely have some I I almost want to say hoodwinked level CGI, if you know what hoodwinked is.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know. Honestly, and also future podcast episode, we should or main channel where we do like a review of that. We should do that. But yes, I know exactly what you're talking with. I want to say though that like the Scary Godmother is definitely a worse CGI animated comparatively to Hoodwinked, but like I know exactly the type of animation you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely picture in my mind what I consider to be like the worst parts about those movies. It's definitely like some characters look better than others, is what I'll say. Like Scary Godmother is a pretty good looking character.
The werewolf actually doesn't look too bad
Harry,
either.
yeah,
Like yeah, Harry, he's not badly animated either. I definitely think the vampires with their very elongated bodies kind of like look pretty bad, but they also have very basic like, like the father's bald and like he's just got red beady eyes. He doesn't have a lot of like detail
he's
on
got like
him. So,
brown clothes. He's got a brown cloak on. Yeah,
and he talks like the or not talk blah 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 like that, like that's how he fucking speaks.
my favorite joke from him is. So, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the show? But Hannah is the character I was thinking of. She looks pretty alright too, compared to like the other
Yeah.
kids that are in that movie that just look soulless. Like people say that the Polar Express kids look soulless or uncanny,
Oh
like they're
no.
ghosts, which has led to like multiple theories that the kids are dead or whatever. But in
Right.
Scary Godmother, I think it's worse. I think it gets worse.
Yeah.
Not in terms of
I
Uncanny
I
Valley,
would
but in terms of soullessness.
I would very much 100% agree because like first of all, the animation is like they're on the opposite sides of when it
Yeah.
comes to animated stuff. I would say like the little beady eyes of all the characters in like Scary Godmother look so much more hollow and just lifeless comparatively.
Mm. But yes, I think there's some characters that look better than others. Like Bugaboo, the big monster, looks pretty good.
Mhm.
And the 3D objects that are given a 2D look, I think is really good for that style.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed, especially when we get that like big shot of Scary Godmother's house and the pumpkin patches that are all around it. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it a lot. So I think like
Also,
the big thing about the Scary Godmother movies for both of them is their like nice blend of the 2D art style on 3D objects. I really much like that.
right.
But other than Scary Godmother, which is childhood classic for me, over the years I definitely have grown more accustomed to some horror movies. I particularly am very much a fan of old slasher films. I like the old cheesy slasher films of the 80s and 90s that just kind of perpetuated Hollywood for a long time. My
Right.
most favorite being A Nightmare on Elm Street. I absolutely love a good chunk or a good amount of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Some of them are just kind of meh, but movies like the first one, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, the sixth film, Freddy's Dead, has some good moments. Wes Craven's A New Nightmare was technically like my first one because I was on Netflix like a long time ago and I really wanted to watch them, and I thought it was pretty alright. I kind of liked the meta narrative that it was going with. And Freddy vs. Jason, oh, I adore that movie. It's like AVP levels of quality, but I absolutely love it. Like, I own the soundtrack on vinyl. I absolutely love this movie. Like,
Hell yeah.
God. But A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, 4, which I think is the Dream Child, and then like there's, I think it stopped at 4. I think there was a fifth one. I remember there being a fifth one. I just thought they were kind of meh, but like the big thing about all of them is just kind of the love and care that's put into the creativity of the sets and the kills and the animatronics and the technology and everything, which you'll see that a lot in these slasher films, and that's what I most appreciate about A Nightmare on Elm Street and films like it. Even though they were kind of like Hollywood cash grabs, there was thought and care put into many aspects of A Nightmare on Elm Street and all of its sequels, and I very much appreciate that. And also, I very much love Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, and I'm very glad that he returned as the character for Freddy vs. Jason in 2003. And kind of a little sad that, you know, he's an older gentleman now. You know, with time and with age comes frailty, so doesn't really have the strength for Freddy Krueger anymore, sadly. And
Right.
do you know about the 2010 remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street?
I don't think I've seen it or heard about it, no.
So I haven't like watched it. I know that I watched EFAP watch it, and I forgot who played Freddy. Let me look it up, because Freddy's appearance in the movies is kind of Jackie Earl Haley. Not anybody I would know, but Freddy's appearance in the movie is like, I don't know, like what they did to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man mask in No Way Home, where they just kind of scrunched it. Is the best way I
Right.
can describe it. It's really weird, but yeah, just the personality that Robert Englund brings Freddy Krueger. I love it. I love it a lot, and I love the character of Freddy. I absolutely love that character. You also mentioned that you liked Friday the 13th, aka the Jason Voorhees movies, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like the Friday the 13th movies that much.
That's fair. I mean, they're I wouldn't say it's an acquired taste, but it's a very simple plot, you know.
Yeah, it's like the first movie, I do like the first movie. Very, very good. All the sequels are just kind of like nothing really improves much, and then like the one time they tried to do a storyline with like one character which was initially played by I forget his first name, but Feldman. Probably recognize him from the Goonies as Mouth.
Yeah.
He played a kid in Friday the 13th, and his character's story was continued in the sequel. And I think his character was in the movie after that too, but I don't remember. It got so weird. But Jason Takes Manhattan, which I think was the eighth movie, yeah, was quite something, because it's like infamous for like half of it being on a boat going to Manhattan, and then like the other
Yeah.
half being in Manhattan, but like not really. And then they do the shot with Jason in Times Square, and I love the scene where he walks up to these guys at a boombox and just kicks the boombox to the side.
Yeah.
But after that, New Line Cinema bought the rights to Friday the 13th from Paramount, and they made Jason Goes to Hell, which actually ended with a teaser for a future Freddy vs. Jason, which would have come out for like another decade, I'm pretty sure. And then we got the greatest of the Friday the 13th movies after, Jason X.
Jason in space.
Yes! And just to let people know, I ironically love that movie. I don't think it's any better than what we had before, but man, I love it. It's so fucking crazy and goofy and bad. And there's CGI at one point where I was like, "Oh, that's god awful," but it it's just so funny. I like it. I love it.
I think at that point they were probably just like, just have fun with it, just do it, you know?
And couple of other franchises over the years. I've only seen the first Halloween movie, and I do like that one quite a bit. I think
Right.
I first saw it in my intro to film class at high school, and it was pretty good. I do have Evil Dead on Blu-ray, but I still haven't watched it. And I saw that Army of Darkness was available on HBO Max, I'm pretty sure, and I was like, oh, maybe. I think like over the years I've acquired more movies where I'm like, oh yeah, this is going on the Halloween movie list. Like this year, Introduction to Species, I probably throw that into Halloween because it does get a bit spooky at times or a little gory a couple of times, you know. But I would never throw any
Right.
of the Species sequels in there.
Yeah, I honestly I find it kind of hard. Me personally, I find it hard to like do sci-fi movies in there. Like even if they're horror, like I wouldn't consider like Aliens or Predator or even like Species as like a movie I would watch during like Halloween. I mean, not saying that you can't, you
Yeah,
know. I just don't think they have that same kind of vibe going for, although they are technically horror, right?
yeah, I get what you mean. I think it's the science fiction element that's part of it that kind of makes it stand out more from all the others. I get what you mean.
Basically, I'm saying your opinion is invalid, nerd. Get
Yeah.
out of here.
Speaking of which, it was like years ago. I stayed home for Halloween one time, and I was like, I'm staying home. I have no drive to go trick or treating this year. And I was like, I want to watch a
Right.
movie, so I put on Men in Black, and Men in Black has been part of my list for like
Oh,
years
yeah.
since. And I was like, oh yeah, this fucking great Halloween movie. Also Hellboy movies, including the
Yeah.
new Crooked Man movie. That's Crooked Man is very much a spooky Hellboy movie. And the first Hellboy movie from Del Toro does take place around Halloween. In fact, there's like one part of the movie that is on Halloween, I'm pretty sure, so that's fitting.
Oh man, that would be kind of be nice to like do a review of that during the Halloween season for next year.
Hopefully, yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Well, the Mummy movies, or at least like the first one. That one
Yeah.
I would consider a Halloween movie.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't think any of the Harry Potter. No, Harry Potter. That's like November. That's like the Thanksgiving
Yeah,
kind of like
fall
fall
movie.
vibe.
Yeah, Beetlejuice. Throw that in there. Love the first
Definitely.
Beetlejuice movie. Thought the second one was like, eh.
More on the kiddish side, Hocus Pocus, maybe even like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and Ghostbusters. Well, I
Oh
cannot
yes,
forget about
absolutely.
Ghostbusters.
Love me Ghostbusters. Love me Ghostbusters too. Simple as.
Simple as.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus is a classic. Love that movie a lot. Named
Uh,
our black cat after Thackeray Binks, of course. Why not?
yeah, he kind of fat and dumb, but he kind of cute though.
Are you talking about my cat?
But yeah, I'm talking about your cat. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen his little ass running around while I was over there. And another one that I almost forgot about. Oh shit, I just forgot about it. Fuck.
And one I
God damn
forgot about. Shit, I forgot about.
it. Damn it.
Are there any?
Keep talking, maybe I'll remember.
Uh, well, I'm gonna make you forget more because I was about to prompt a question. Are there any video games that you would play around this time too for that feeling?
Not really. I'm not like I definitely have some video games that are like like I would label as cozy games for the fall time and stuff, but for
Hmm.
Halloween specific, no, I don't have any like spooky Halloween. I think it's more of just about like the act of going to get candy and like going to Halloween parties and doing that stuff,
Hmm.
and watching the scary movies that make you piss and shit and come a little bit.
Okay.
Uh
Men in Black 2 for the
Sorry, people.
vor enjoyers. They'll make you piss and shit and come, alright?
uh,
but yeah.
no, but I don't have anything like that.
But yeah, I feel like if I was more into horror games, I'd probably throw like Dead Space on, play that a little bit.
Mm,
Batman Arkham Asylum is a fantastic Halloween game, especially
right.
the 3 scarecrow levels that are in that game that you play through. And just the vibes of Batman Arkham Asylum really fit this time of year. I love it a lot. I'd probably throw Resistance Fall of Man into there as well. Very got some spooky horror vibes that are very well known in our community.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, Mr. Phillip, how did you enjoy your Scooby-Doo hunt?
Oh, where do I begin?
I'm gonna
So,
zip my
ladies,
mouth for you
all
can
right,
go off.
you're all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as of recent for HBO Max, right? That was, as far as I knew, beginning this search or wanting to watch Scooby-Doo movies and Scooby-Doo episodes and other Scooby-Doo related media. HBO Max has been known as the home for Hanna-Barbera and Warner Brothers content, right? Well, come to find out, September of this year, 2025, they got rid of all that shit or most of it. There's a few pieces of like Scooby Doo. I forget what they were, but it was like a couple movies. But like all, and I mean all of their fucking content for Scooby Doo is gone. So this made this task of watching at least one episode from every like series of Scooby Doo or most of it, and attempting to even watch like the movies the hardest fucking task. Like this is like trying to find the goddamn Ark of the Covenant, right? You could probably find the Ark of the fucking Covenant faster and easier than trying to like watch every last piece of fucking Scooby Doo. Like, thank God for Scooby, right? Because you got a couple of or like three of like the main series on there. Like let's see, the Scooby Doo show, Scooby Doo, Where Are You? What's New Scooby Doo, right? But God forbid if you want to watch any of the like, direct to DVD movies, no, you're gonna have to pay at least $1.95 on Fandango to watch each every individual fucking movie. Also, every fucking series that's not on Tubi is also another $1.99 just to fucking watch it. So basically, I had to piece all this shit together from different streaming services as well as fucking YouTube clips. So at the end of the day, I just want to say go fuck yourself, HBO Max, for fucking destroying not only Scooby Doo, but also all of your other fucking animated content on your fucking service. So yeah, go fuck yourself. Okay, Liam, you can take off the earmuffs. Daddy's done beating your mother.
Oh my god.
Told you this would be a spooky episode. Domestic violence.
I was expecting more, but I guess by your standards, that's like, I'm very mad. I'm upset. And then there's me with Starfield, like, this is the fucking empty sand worst game of all time.
Well, to be fair, I'm trying not to peek the fucking mic, and plus, there's also
Oh,
other
yeah.
people around, so I'm trying to be
Oh, yeah.
respectful of
I get that.
everyone else around here.
Because if you
And to
do
keep,
that, Discord will cut you out and be like, oh, whoops, sorry, didn't get any of that shit.
yeah, exactly. So, like, just forewarning for anybody who loves Scooby Doo, don't go to HBO Max and waste $9.99 just to fucking find out that there is no Scooby Doo content on there. So, you have been warned, fair viewer.
It's the clip of Peter Griffin entering the kitchen, flipping on the light. Chris is sitting at the table and he goes, there's nothing. And Peter goes, thank you, son, and flicks the light off and goes back to bed.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, unless you
Oh
just want to
God.
watch the James Gunn written Scooby-Doo films, that's all there is just the
Yeah.
movies. Just the live
Yep.
action films. And Scoob, I'm pretty sure. I think they also have Scoob on there. Basically, any
Yeah.
movie that Warner Brothers distributed into theaters, essentially. That's all you're getting.
Yep. Yeah, and let me be honest with you, some of that shit just isn't good for what else you have out there. Now, to be fair, there are stuff that Hanna-Barbera themselves made that isn't very good. We'll get there. I'm looking at you, Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, even I have my own little, like, story to tell. I was supposed to do homework for this, as you and I were. We even had our own list of movies, like Zombie Island,
Yeah.
and the Alien Invaders one. I think the Kiss crossover we put on there too.
Yep.
We had
Yep.
we had a
Yep.
bunch of the classics on there, like some of the more well regarded ones, even. We even like cherry picked out those ones because you were like, Liam, do not watch Return to Zombie Island. It's ass. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did.
Comparatively to the original, yeah.
I did not follow through on this at all. Did not watch a single one of those movies save for the James Gunn films. And I'm going into this with the ball knowledge that I have of like Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated and whatever we had on VHS. So any other classic Scooby-Doo films that we might talk about, you're probably not going to get much from me, but from Philip, you're probably going to get quite a bit.
Oh yeah, baby. It's my time to motherfucking shine. One of my few special autistic interests. Let's go.
Also, my
Um,
my mini rant is that I want to let y'all know that I've tried to find DVD collections, like a big DVD collection of all of these direct-to-video movies. I found one. It had jack shit about what I was looking for. Barely had any of the movies that I wanted. I'm pretty sure they loaded this 10-disc 100 Warner Brother anniversary thing with the worst Scooby-Doo movies that could be up there. Some of those aren't that bad on this collection, but some of the others, no. I need the classics. I'm talking from Zombie Island all the way up to the current Matthew Lillard days. Alright? This DVD collection didn't even have The Witch's Ghost. That's criminal.
boo,
That is
boo,
criminal. Not even
boo.
gonna throw a single Hex Girls thing in there, huh? But yeah, that's my little rant. Anyway, Philip, I know that on our document or whatever, the first batch of Scooby-Doo movies we're gonna talk about are the James Gunn films. Because these are the
Yes.
ones that I am the most familiar with. These are the ones that I grew up on. This was my Scooby-Doo, damn it. This was Scooby-Doo to me. And honestly, as the years have gone on and I got more exposed to Scooby-Doo, I have to say, dear God, the first movie does not live up to any of its standards. And the second movie is the better of the two.
So, like, give me good reason of why you think the second one is a far better movie. Like, I mean, obviously we can go over like both movies quickly, but like, in your opinion, what makes the second movie better to you? Because I am curious.
I feel like the second movie is more so a love letter to the franchise up till that point. It actually has monsters from the original cartoons. Like Minor
Mhm.
49er. I'm pretty sure the 9000 volt ghost is
Yeah,
from one of the direct to video movies, I want to say. Like,
I don't. I definitely. He's definitely not like the Cyber Chase monster. Definitely not. I
okay, that's what I was thinking.
actually he might, but like, let me get back to you on that one because like he might actually. Now that I think about it, he might because I'm trying to think of all the other like different monsters that are out there because they have like they obviously have the Muck Monster
Yeah.
guy, and they have the Minor 49er, and then they
They
have the as
have
a pterodactyl, right? Or some kind
they
of
do have the pterodactyl monster. They have Dr. Okobo, I think that was his name, the pterodactyl guy.
yeah, yeah.
And they have, oh man, his name was in my head after watching the movie because I'm like, I gotta memorize these names. But the diver suit guy with in the classic
Yeah,
diver
that
suit.
yeah, that is also like from the very first Where Are You, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. It's just that nice callback to the original Scooby-Doo cartoons, and they have that whole little scene where they go back to like their old clubhouse or whatever. And
Right.
even though I haven't really seen much of the original Scooby-Doo, I don't know if like the clubhouse is like very accurate. I know that there is a clubhouse in the middle of a fucking swamp in the original Scooby-Doo, but
Not really. Like really their hometown really didn't become a thing until I think like about like the 90s around that time. Actually no, I think it was probably like where is it? It's in my notes because I had something about that. It was during A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, 1988 to 1991, where they referenced their hometown as being as Coolsville, right? and that's where the gang kind of got their start for it. And from every iteration going forward, or for most for a while, I think it was all the way up until Mystery Incorporated that it probably I think it got changed. It's Crystal. Is it Crystal Lake that?
It's well, Crystal Lake was the Friday the 13th thing. I know what you're
Oh,
talking about. I think Crystal is in the title of Crystal Cove. Crystal Cove. That's
Crystal
what it
Cove
is.
until it got to Mystery Incorporated, where it changed it to Crystal Cove. But basically, it was referred to as Coolsville, and I think that clubhouse probably comes from a pup named Scooby Doo, because I do believe they do have a clubhouse in that show. Probably harkens back to that specific era, but like going back all the way to like some of the original series, like from the 70s, they didn't really have like a hometown really. They were just kind of like a traveling bunch of teenagers solving mysteries, right? Which they would only make some very like little bit of references to where they came from, or that like, oh, in school I was this, blah blah blah. That really like really establishing their background really didn't come up until basically the new era of Scooby-Doo showed up. So
Okay. I kind of like in Scooby Doo 2, there's that bar where like all of the people they've unmasked go to. And I'm not going to lie, like the one of the knocks I have against the second Scooby Doo movie is that it takes all this effort in referencing the classics. But if it really wanted to go further and reference like what I would think would be the best of the directed video considered at that time, they could have referenced Witch's Ghost by having the Hex Girls as the main band in that bar.
oh my God, you are so right. Good on you, Liam. So this is something I will get to, but like the Hex Girls are so underutilized throughout since their inception. And that's all I'm gonna say right now, because we will get to that fucking rant when we get there, okay? I'm a big fucking Hex Girls fan, all right? God damn it.
Yeah, but each iteration that we get, their costumes are fucking awesome.
Oh my God, yeah.
What else? Oh, one positive. Alicia Silverstone is in this movie, which as a kid, I was like, I never really recognized any actors as a kid, but there's so many people in this movie now where I'm like, hey, I know you from this thing now, or I know you from this thing now. Like, when I saw Alicia Silverstone, again, watching this movie not too long ago, because I haven't seen Scooby-Doo 2 in years, I was like, oh my
Right.
fucking god, that's Batgirl from Batman and Robin. Holy shit.
It has been a long time since these movies came out, because like when I was checking dates and stuff like that, the original gun film Scooby-Doo came out in 2002, and Monsters Unleashed came out in 2004. So
Yeah,
that's how old these movies are now.
yeah. And Freddie Prinze Jr. plays Fred. Now I know him more as like James Vega in Mass Effect, and it's kind of about it for Freddie Prinze Jr. everyone
Right.
everyone else, I'm just kind of like I don't know. I don't really know where like Velma or Daphne's actresses are like kind of initially from or what they've done afterwards. But Matthew Lillard has had quite the career after the Scooby Doo
Yeah.
movies. I think that has to be like one of his most popular, if not his most popular role like ever. And I'm glad that he was so well received as Shaggy that they decided, you know what? You're the main voice of Shaggy from now on. Shows, movies, you're Shaggy.
Yeah, like he got set for life, which is good. He definitely deserved it, because he very much did a very very good job as portraying Shaggy Rogers.
Though I will say his voice as Shaggy in TV and direct-to-video animated movies very different from how he sounds in the first movie and even in the second movie.
Well, I definitely think that's because the gang in the animated series and stuff like that still very much are just those average 70s kids a little bit. Like I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they sometimes they'll change up their like outfits and stuff like that, but like, Freddy's design hasn't changed much. Velma's design hasn't changed much. Shaggy hasn't changed much. They're still kind of just hippies from the 70s in essence. So like I feel like he has to kind of like play to that role a little bit, and he
Hmm.
can't be kind of like the edgy 90s teenager that he was in the Scooby-Doo films or the live action films, you know.
Yeah, I get that. Might also be age on his voice as well, and just doing the voice for so many years.
Yeah, that could be true. Or how many fucking direct DVD movies there were probably also fucked up his voice for for some reason.
And something I also gotta mention is the voice of Shaggy itself, because there is a notable difference between Lillard and the Shaggies that came before. I don't know any of the names of the voice actors, but even when I can't do Lillard Shaggy, I can only do classic Shaggy. That's the one I can imitate the best. And like, oh, let's get out of here, Scoob. Like, that's one of the Shaggies that I do recognize. Is like Alien
Right.
Invaders, Witches Ghost, Zombie Island Shaggy. That's one of the voices that's kind of stuck with me. Or even like the original 1969 into the 70s Shaggy. Well, I'm glad he's in there and we're out here, and that he's the sheriff and we're out here, and he's frozen out here and we're frozen in here.
Yeah. Oh my God. Such a gem.
And while we're on voice actors, I gotta prop Frank Welker up for holding on to the role of Fred for all these years. From the inception of the show to the modern day, that man will live and die as Fred.
Yeah, I don't know like how he's been able to maintain. I mean, I'm sure if I like put it side by side, I could probably hear a difference in like as his voice ages, but like man, that's crazy to think that since like 1969 he's been doing this shit, you know what I mean? That's like crazy to think about, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
at least he's not like really destroying his voice like the voice actor for Marge was doing for so many
Oh
fucking years, right?
yeah, like many
Like
people have started pointing it out that Marge's voice has changed drastically over the years, and I feel bad for her.
yeah, because like Freddie doesn't have like any really hard accent or like funny voice like you would have to kind of do with like Scoob, you know? Like I feel like he's just doing his normal voice, right? Or very little to change it for Freddie's voice, you know?
Yeah,
So that probably helped.
yeah, that and Frank Welker is just a phenomenal voice actor all around. Like he's voiced, I would say, over hundreds of characters, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know, but you know, one of his other most popular characters is Megatron. He's been Megatron since 1984, although many have
Hell yeah.
stepped into the role of Megatron. Like I don't know the name, but completely different voice actor for Transformers Animated. And that was a very menacing Megatron. Hugo Weaving in the first three Transformers films. Great. He
Right.
was phoning that performance in, and people still think that he's one of like the best Megatrons next to Welker. And Welker's reinvention of the Megatron voice for Transformers Prime is just magnificent as well. Like he's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
this show's a little darker. This Megatron is more brutal than the. I mean, I guess arguably more brutal than the 1984 Megatron, but he understood the assignment.
Right, right.
But he's also known for making a lot of animal noises, like that classic jaguar wow 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 sound in movies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's him.
Oh my God, really? That's crazy.
Frank Welker does so many cat sounds. Like he's in almost every episode of Batman the Animated Series where Catwoman shows up and she has her cat Isis. He's credited
Yeah.
as Isis because that's him. That's all the recycled cat voices that he's done over the years.
That's pretty interesting actually. Like it's like that like have you seen that meme of that autistic kid who can perfectly mimic fucking like bird noises or whatever? Like that's basically him but for cats.
Hmm. Yeah, I can do a good mimic of like the predator clicking growl.
Oh yeah.
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 but but back to the gun
Yeah,
films because we still need to talk about the first one. I definitely
right.
in my rewatch of the James Gunn films lately, and I do hate I do hate to just call them the James Gunn films because the director for both is the same too, but I'm sorry, I just don't remember his name. James Gunn over time has become very significant in Hollywood in that he brought the Guardians of the Galaxy to life on the big screen and made them a household name, and is now in charge of DC, which are topics for the future, but just for James Gunn, he as a director is now a household name, essentially.
Right.
And previously he wasn't really known for much. Like, yeah, he had like a couple of movies here and there that many people know about, and then there was the Scooby-Doo films. Did you know that he also wrote a Zack Snyder directed movie?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Which one was that?
I don't know, but I just know that they have done that before. And you know how there's like the Snyder Bros versus the Gunn Bros with DC now? That it's like, oh fuck, they worked on a movie together. What do we do?
Yeah.
But yeah, but Gunn's been here for a while, and Guardians of the Galaxy really was like his step into like
Time to shine.
the bigger world. Yeah, his time to shine, his time in the spotlight as a director. Because he
Right.
didn't write that movie, and the a female writer of that movie deserves more credit. Anyway, I think it's very well known that Gunn's original idea of the first Scooby-Doo movie was that it was definitely supposed to be more like rated R adult Scooby-Doo. Like, many scenes where, like, you know the scene where it like pans down to the mystery machine and it's playing Pass the Touchy on the left hand side, and then there's like smoke coming out of the top. I'm pretty sure like one of the original drafts, Shaggy was supposed to be smoking fucking weed instead of making
Yeah.
the abomination that is an eggplant burger.
Yeah. I've heard of that too, which I think is because like this is rated PG-13, right?
I think
I
it's
think.
PG.
Oh, PG.
It is PG, yeah.
I understand why they did that. One, because like, like it's Scooby-Doo, right? There's gonna be a lot of kids watching this.
They have the word bitch
But
in this movie.
I guess so, yeah, they do have that. But like I definitely like I think it would have been more thematic for like the counterculture edginess of like the 1990s going into the early 2000s. I think it would have been perfect. But I also understand, they got to do what they got to do. I definitely know that wouldn't fly if they were still owned by like Hanna-Barbera by any stretch. Like Hanna-Barbera would fucking just immediately shot down this fucking movie if it wasn't Warner Brothers who owned it at this time. Yeah.
I mean, Warner
But yeah.
Brothers does own Hanna-Barbera, I'm pretty sure, because Hanna-Barbera is still credited in the Scooby-Doo live-action movies, because
Right, but
those characters are still owned by them. But I see what you mean, is that if Hanna-Barbera was like the sole production company behind it, pulling
right.
strings and whatnot, I would get that. But yeah, I could see how Warner Brothers would be a little lenient on it. Like, oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
You could do drug jokes and have Fred say bitch. Sure.
yeah. Hanna-Barbera has been like such a family friendly type animation company since time in memoriam, at this point, with like Yogi Bear and like Speed Buggy and Captain Caveman and yeah, several other IPs.
The Flintstones, the Jetsons, yeah.
The Flintstones. Yeah, well, I'll get to those poor bastards here in a little
Oh,
bit,
the
but
poor bastards, yeah.
by the way, if there's any like younger people listening to this, like go watch some fucking Hanna-Barbera cartoons like the Jetsons and the Flintstones, not the cereal box, the actual show, because that's what that was based on. I'll let you finish your thoughts about the first movie, and then
Yeah.
I'll quickly cover my thoughts
So,
on both.
yeah, so with the first movie, and I still get a little not nostalgia bias, because over time, as I've consumed other Scooby-Doo media, I can definitely see why a lot of people didn't like the first Scooby-Doo movie when it came out, and how some Scooby-Doo fans still don't like it to this day. I think I'm kind of in agreement with those people in that the first Scooby-Doo movie is definitely like one of the inferior of the Scooby-Doo films, sad to say, and that the second film is more faithful to the IP than its predecessor. And it's just like, I don't know, I just don't get like the same type of vibe from the first film that I would get with the second film or any other Scooby-Doo product, really. It's such like a departure, and you brought up the 90s and early 2000s counterculture. That movie is definitely infected with that stuff, and it feels like it's trying to be the hip and cool Scooby-Doo. We're trying to appeal to the teens and the young adults, man. And I don't think it really works out that much. Like, if they made a
Right.
movie that not only was, like, I don't know, a kid's movie, but was also still faithful to the fans or whatever, like the second movie was, I think it would have done fine. I think a movie about just the opening scene would have been preferable,
Right.
where they're like trying to
I
go after the Luna Ghost, who's also trying to go after Pamela Anderson. Yeah, she's in this
yeah.
movie. Oh, and not to mention the amount of cleavage in this fucking film. From Pamela Anderson to Velma to Daphne, it's crazy.
I think this is the movie that made Velma an option for like hottest girl on the Scooby Doo team. Like, because I can't think because before this there was like this was probably the first iteration where they tried to make the nerdy girl or geeky girl the hot girl. You know, I mean, Velma was still pretty good looking in this film, but definitely this is where like, yeah, you know what? Being nerdy and geeky can also be very hot and kinky, you know,
Oh,
because it's true because it rhymes.
oh, they very much amped that up in the second movie when they put her in a fucking full latex suit.
Yep, yep,
Oh my god, and the explicit butt shot as she's bending over again into the
yep,
freaking mystery machine as the freaking leathers creaking and squeaking. Holy shit.
yeah.
They knew what they were doing
Um,
because they're like, Daphne,
they
yeah, she looks pretty. Somebody, it had to be Gunn. It had to be James Gunn because he wrote these things. He had to have a liking for fucking Velma. I I fucking like Dokes from Dexter. You know, like the Dokes meme from Dexter when he's
Yep,
like,
yep, yep.
I have my suspicions that James Gunn is a Velma Gooner. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, good choice, but like,
Yeah.
oh dear lord.
Uh, honestly, I want to give like a bit of a counter argument really quickly. While I agree with you that I think the second film is better than the first film, I don't think it is bad as people think it is, but for a different reason. I definitely think that like the first live action Scooby-Doo movie is definitely coming off of the heels of the new era of Scooby-Doo because before this movie came out, between 1998 and I think either the early year of 2002 or it was 2001, right? We had four direct-to-DVD movies, which were Zombie Island, The Witch's Ghost, Cyber Chase, and Alien Invaders, right? And this was the era where like Scooby-Doo is like, listen, there's no villains, there's no, you know, regular humans behind masks. These are actually real creatures and they're like real monsters,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in the first film, the monsters are very much real. Like even in that
Yeah.
one scene where like Fred's like, "All right, everybody, listen. For the last fucking time, there are no ghosts and monsters aren't real." And then the fucking monsters come out. You know.
Yeah,
So
there's
I
no
think that
such thing as
as
monster.
monsters, yeah. Which is a great scene. I always get cold chills when I see that part of that
Mm-hmm.
movie. I think that's fucking cool. But I think that is kind of like what James Gunn saw. Like he probably like watched those like four direct to DVD movies and like was understanding what era that they were in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like kind of like I mean the second film was also like that because technically the monsters are real question mark
Yeah,
even though that like
they're made real through a machine. Like the costumes are brought to life and they take on the characteristics of the original hosts, or at least like the
right.
characteristics that the hosts were playing. Yeah.
So I you can make an argument, right? So I can see that there, right? And I think that's I still like that idea that like, you know, the Mystery Incorporated, while most of the cases that they cover are just people's trying to do fucking stupid shit, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know, or whatever, or trying to rob a fucking bank, so they got to fucking dress up as like a scary ghost to scare the guard yards away, you know? But I also like that mix of like, hey, there are actually monsters, ghouls, and demons, you know, in this, you know, universe. But I think it's bad because, like, I think the fucking villain at the end, it's just a big middle finger to Scrappy Doo. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
think because, like, that's literally that's the, like, sorry to ruin it for or spoil it for everybody, but the big villain, the reveal villain in this movie isn't who you think it actually is. It's from a character that everybody in the Scooby-Doo fandom fucking hates, and the creators themselves, Scrappy motherfucking Doo, you know?
Hmm.
And I just think that's shitty. I think that was just like, dude, really? That kind of really just like, I mean, I think it's like a funny twist villain, but when you think about it, it's like, that's so fucking dumb. Like, they could have just done like the classic fucking, oh, it's this guy with like voodoo powers or some shit like that, you know? I don't know. I just think that shit's dumb.
Yeah.
Bee power!
Puppy power. Yeah, I will say.
Who's pissing on my fucking skirt or whatever?
My God. I will say there are definitely things to like in the first James Gunn film. Yeah, even for me, it's like while I think as a Scooby Doo movie, it's like it's not the worst, but it's definitely like low in the tiers. There are still things to like about this movie. For one, the CGI for 2002 isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Does look a little dated, but especially on like the big monsters. But for Scooby Doo himself, I would say it's pretty alright for on Scooby himself. It's pretty good and very impressive. The soundtrack, not just the original score by David Newman, the licensed tracks are so nostalgic for me. There's even like a couple in the second movie that are just really nostalgic for me. And just that era from 2000 to 2010, or like 2007 or 8, I would say like that era of music is just so nostalgic and iconic for me, not just because I was raised in that time, but there were so many movies that had all those licensed tracks of
Yeah.
2000s rock alternative music.
Yeah.
And
Uh, the, the
yeah.
the main song that you're thinking of from that movie is "Bump in the Night" by Stars, and I have that shit on my Spotify. That
Mm.
shit's so fucking hot. I love that shit.
like I think the one song that we got onto like iTunes was the Freaks Don't Come at Night, which
Oh
plays when they
yeah.
show off like the Spooky Island crystal skull chandelier
Oh
thing,
yeah.
which
Yeah,
going
yeah,
Freaks Come at Night. That stuck with us for a
yeah, yeah,
long
yeah.
time. One song that stuck with me is when they're on the dirt bikes and they're racing
Oh
to that
yeah.
fireplace,
Yeah.
and you got the guys in the background going ooh ah ooh ah.
Also, the song that the boy band was fucking playing before, like they realized that they were possessed by like the demons or
Hmm.
monsters. That whatever that pop like that guy was singing was really fucking cool too.
Yeah, and it cuts to Fred saying "bitch."
Yeah, bitch.
I was like, "What? This is a bitch."
Yeah, that shit's fucking funny.
But yeah, love the music in this movie. Every actor does a good job playing their characters. I like the actress who played Velma a lot. I think she got her character right. Daphne, I could not handle Daphne in this movie. She's better in the second movie, but in the first movie, I'm
Uh,
like, Daphne's kind of a bitch. No.
yeah. She's like daddy's rich girl, but also I'm independent, strong and independent woman at the same time. It's just weird. Yeah, I don't like her character either. Like Velma, the James Gunn really focused on Velma on this one
Hmm.
as being like the best girl, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Daphne's definitely improved in the second one because in the first movie she wants to like prove herself, but not in. I wouldn't say that like all the characters want to try to prove themselves as like being like, oh, I'm gonna take this job on my own or whatever. But Daphne seems to be the
Right.
one of the ones to like really be driven to be like, oh, I'm gonna solve this case all by myself, and all the other characters really aren't because she's the girl who gets captured all the time. So she believes that she can do the job by herself, that she can do it without getting captured, which, I understand. But at the same time, she's like being a bitch about it. Is the best way I could
Right.
describe her.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's totally in the wrong, but it's noticeable and it can get annoying at times. But other than that, like all the other actors are pretty good in this movie. They got freaking Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, in this film, dude.
Yeah. 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 There's something going on in Spooky Island. And they all look at him weird. Yeah.
What is that? There's a bubblehead cat. Don't touch.
So, spoiler alert, everybody. Mr. Bean is actually being controlled by a small dog named Scrappy Doo.
Mm-hmm.
Which I still think that shit's the weirdest fucking thing ever. Like, it brings up the question too. One, by what means? How was he able to like build a basically a perfect android for him to control? Right? Like someone like if you think about this, Liam. Right? Like we're going a little bit deeper down the fucking rabbit hole. Right?
Yeah.
There is a no goddamn way that like Scrappy Doo could have created that himself. So obviously by my like context clues, someone had to be helping Scrappy Doo, right? As like a one up to the Scooby Gang. I mean, it could have been like, like literally like all the villains are coming together to like, I don't know, support Scrappy or whatever or something like that and
Mm-hmm.
trying to like fuck over like the mystery gang or something. I don't know. There's more at work there than people probably realize. It just like wigs me out.
Yeah, it's like even when I was watching the movie, I thought about like what's the story about Scrappy like trying to get his revenge? Like what led to this? Like how did he meet these like people? How did he buy Spooky Island and build this whole amusement park? Or like did the original Rowan Atkinson, which is revealed later on, build the park and then Scrappy was like, "Oh, I can friggin' hijack this shindig, get all these different people to do my bidding, and then get Mystery Inc. here, and then I'll be able to, like, not only kill them, but also take over the world." Like,
Right.
what? How?
And like you also have to think about like I don't know what the age difference is, right? But like I'm gonna say like the original Scooby Doo gang like was in their like high schoolers, right? And like that's when they had Scrappy, and then they got rid of him then, and they can't be more than like they're definitely not in their 30s. I would say like early to mid like 20s
Mid to
at
late
best, and
20s?
like yeah, like in this time. So that's like Scrappy had like maybe probably a decade to like get this all together. But still, that's pretty impressive within that time frame to like get all that shit together. But I'll be honest with you, we're probably also thinking way too deep into this. And it's just like it's just a funny fucking movie. Scooby-Doo. Don't think about it harder than that.
Yeah, it's like, I was never too bothered by Scrappy. I think that's because as a kid, like, I didn't have anything to base the Scooby-Doo movie on. And this was basically my first interpretation of any of those characters. So Scrappy being the villain, I think kind of makes sense to me because there was this scene beforehand establishing, the puppy power piss on Daphne thing that kind of
Yeah.
gives him a motive to like take revenge. But at the same time, it's like, how? But I think it's also like satisfying to long-term Scooby-Doo fans to see frickin' Scooby flick his ass into a rock wall.
Yeah, yeah, that is true.
And I
Um
would have got away with it too if it weren't for your meddly sons of a.
Also, I have to say too, like on that island, there's just a well of souls. Like
But it's underground.
that,
It's
like
it's it's kept away, Philip.
who on the OSHA was just like, yeah, I'll write this off. I think it's not affecting the structure of the amusement park. It's not like affecting any rides. Like I'll just give you a pass on this one. This is like I would consider this a natural habitat, and you have not disturbed it at all. But
Well,
but yeah, isn't that crazy though? Like there is
well,
legitimately a fucking well of souls there.
we'll come to think of it. I think by that point, when the Well of Souls was installed, I think they already had the Coast Guard under their control, because if you remember, they tried to call the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard's like, "Oh yeah, we'll send
Oh yeah,
somebody,"
that's
and
right.
then they hang up their phone, and it's like, they want to
Maniacally
get off the
laughing. Yeah.
island. And then like,
Turns out this is actually. Turns out Scrappy Doo was actually working for the CIA, and this is just a giant psyop to like brainwash fucking young. Actually, no, that does make sense because remember in part of the movie they had the whole fucking place where they're like like kids and whatnot. It's like what you should and shouldn't do, like the whole like recording
oh yeah,
studio,
I will
right?
crush you.
And fucking yeah, yeah. Or and fucking Velma was like, "Oh, this is all about brainwashing and stuff, dude. This is actually a fucking CIA black site for a giant psyop. Holy shit!"
Word.
Yeah.
Bro, I could barely understand anything of what they were saying, even though nowadays I kind of understand the freaking brain rot slang of that era, of which I was
Yeah.
born in. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like, the only thing I could decipher from that is word.
Word. Yeah.
Word.
Also, one last thing before we might move on or anything like that.
Mm.
You know what kind of like wigs me out a little bit is the practical props for like the dining feasting area where fucking
Oh,
Scoob
yeah.
and Shag get like captured. I don't like that. That shit's just like wigs me out. Like when I look at it, it's just like I don't know. It like the best thing I can say to explain this and excuse my language, everybody, but they look like a bunch of fucking vaginas on the wall, like those meat, like the mouth opening meat
Oh,
thing.
you're talking about in the ride area with the
Yeah.
okay, yeah. All right. Not gonna lie,
Whoever decided to.
when you started that, I was thinking about the restaurant area, and I was about to be like, "Oh yeah, there are people online who are
Oh,
trying to find those tiki cups, blah blah blah, because they look really cool."
oh
And then you're
yeah.
like, "The things on the wall look like vaginas." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But yeah, I get what you mean. The freaking the thing version of like turkeys, yeah, on the walls.
Yeah. If the thing ever got to fucking contaminate Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, there's a lot of practical props in this movie that I really like too. I think of the two movies, I think this movie definitely had like the best practical stuff in it.
Right.
I'm not saying that the second movie doesn't have any good stuff in it too, but this one definitely up there. I really like it.
Yeah.
There's so many props in there that I would be like, "Oh yeah, those cups at the restaurant, I want those. Those are great."
I bet you there's like a place in like Hollywood somewhere where these cups still reside in just like a long forgotten broom closet.
Oh, they'll go up for auction at some point. Like if Warner Brothers is in desperate need of money, like they always are.
Oh my God, yeah.
Even though, like, maybe like if we wanted to go in depth on the gun movies, we'll probably do that at a later date when we're like more familiarized with them. But for now, we're gonna end our discussion of the James Gunn written Scooby-Doo films, and we're gonna move on to everything else. Everything else.
Cracks knuckles, my time to shine.
My time to shine.
Uh, yeah, so let me tell you, folks, like I said before, Scooby Doo, since its inception in 1969, encompasses over 600 episodes, and I think it was like 13, 15 different series throughout the years, and like 40 some fucking movies included as well. It's a lot. And obviously, like if you guys would want us to at a future date cover a specific series of Scooby-Doo or a collection of episodes or a specific movie, we could definitely do that and we could do it on the main channel. But here we are only really taking samples from all the different series and some of like the directed DVD movies that
Mm-hmm.
hold a special place in our heart.
Mm-hmm.
So please forgive us because like we would not be able to do this in a timely manner for Halloween. So yeah, if you guys want to do that, do it on your own time. So yeah, let's begin from the very beginning.
Mm.
So Scooby-Doo was first released in 1969 as Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And basically Hanna-Barbera was just like, let's do a mystery solving teenage gang, right? And that included four members plus a dog. Freddie, Velma, Daphne, Shaggy, and their mascot, Scooby. And I actually interviewed, but more so talked to some of my coworkers who were actually kids during this era.
Hmm.
And let me tell you, they told me this was the prime time show for Saturday cartoons. Like, cartoons are a lot different now than they were then. Cartoons only really came on Saturday because television stations at that time realized that like kids are only getting really free time on Saturday morning and stuff. So like that was prime time. Whereas
Hmm.
like now it's like you can stream it, you can watch it, you can do it anytime. Kids are active whenever. iPad kids, right? But
Hmm.
like it was a big fucking thing, and it was a big, big hit for Warner Bros. Now, Warner Bros. Had a lot of other media before then, as you know, Liam. Like they had the Jetsons, Yogi Bear, the
Or Hanna
Flintstones,
Barbera had all that.
or yeah, Hanna Barbera had all that. Sorry,
Yeah,
uh, did I say Warner Brothers?
you
I'm
said Warner
sorry.
Brothers. Yeah.
Warner Bros. Yeah, sorry. Warner Bros. Wouldn't come into the picture for until much later down the line, but Hanna Barbera specifically. But let me tell you, when this was a big, big fucking hit. The best way that I can kind of break this down is into different eras by the. Would you consider the TV networks that they were on as the producer or the publisher? I guess publisher or broadcaster. I would just say
It would be the
broadcaster.
broadcaster. Man, there's like more official terms, but I know that regionally it would be different broadcasters because like something that airs on like Cartoon Network in the United States might also air on Nickelodeon in a different country or whatever.
I see. Okay, so
Or
I'll just refer.
syndication. It just might be syndication rights and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just call them broadcasters for now because
Yeah.
like a lot of different broadcasters have had their hand on the Scooby-Doo, like being able to air it specifically only solely on their channels and whatnot. We have CBS, we have ABC, and then eventually Warner Bros. Would get that, and then obviously everything would go into streaming in the more modern time.
Don't knock Cartoon Network.
Oh yeah. Cartoon Network and then Boomerang, and then it would go to like streaming services,
Yeah.
HBO and whatnot. All the while, Hanna-Barbera would still hold the rights to make Scooby-Doo. So yeah, let's start with like the first series. So we have Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, right? Had about 3 seasons. They would be broadcasted on CBS. There's not a lot to say about it. It's just like more of just like, oh, the gang, they just go around and they solve mysteries. And it's literally just usually a guy in a mask trying to rob a bank or try to steal some valuable artifact. And they're usually dressed up as some kind of ghost ghoul monster of some type, right? You get a lot of your classic villains like Miner 49er, the space ghost that goes like, and fucking the Muck Monster, the Black Knight. The Black Knight was the very first episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually,
And he's in the
funny
second
enough,
movie too.
he is in the second movie too. Yes, that is correct. I forgot about that. But basically, the Black Knight, is the very first episode, and it's simply just like they find a piece of armor alongside the road. I like Scooby Doo and Shaggy are literally walking home from the movies, and they come across it, right? So they get the gang together and they return it to the museum. But turns out the museum curator has been missing for some time, right? And so the mystery gang investigates, right? And this is here where you actually get to find out a little bit more about like some of like the gang members. Like, like Shaggy is a gymnast in their like the top gymnast in their like school, as
Really?
well as like he has yeah, he actually is because he literally fucking like they try to get into the museum break into the museum at night and they have like a giant ass ladder, right? But like it can't reach the top. But Shaggy has a gymnast, so he can leap in through the top of the fucking top window and get in that way. He also is a very good ventriloquist, apparently. Like he can throw his voice.
Oh.
That's in that same episode. So but, eventually they figure it out. It's like, hey, it was actually the curator himself. He was trying to steal artwork. So he would, at night copy the artwork, like try to repaint it, hang it up on the wall, and then steal the actual like painting, right? So he's a painting thief. So that era, like, and again, you would get a lot of other classic stuff like the Space Ghost, the Miner 49er, the fucking caveman, that guy, the fucking the YouTube poop.
I'm glad he's in here. We're out there, and he's the sheriff. I just remember, I want to know is where's the caveman?
So, yeah, that's kind of like what the episodes were, but they were big hits, right? And that would run for 3 seasons, and it would only be from 1969 all the way up until 1970. So not many years, but a lot of seasons. Now,
I have a question.
yes,
Why did this show have a laugh track?
why I had a laugh track?
Why did this show have a laugh track? That's my main question.
I That's a good question. I don't know the actual answers to that. I think that was just a popular thing. Like, you know how like in some of those older TV shows you would get like a well-known character would come onto the scene and then like the clapping would start, right? Because everybody's excited to see. I think that was just to like cue people into like, "Oh, it's funny. That's the joke." It's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Scooby did something dumb,
Yeah,
It's
they
just like this.
laugh. All I can
Yeah,
imagine is like special guest star in cartoon form, Marlon Brando. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
woo, yeah. Because I think about like other cartoons of that time, like the Fantastic Four '60s cartoon, or the Spider-Man '60s cartoon, or even like later Super Friends cartoons from the '70s, which came after Batman '66. Like I like those cartoons didn't have any laugh tracks or a live audience reacting to the shows. So Scooby-Doo has always been, or like Scooby-Doo Where Are You has always been unique to me in that regard, as like the only animated series that I know of that has like a live audience track going on. It's like
right.
super weird because I don't know of any other cartoon of that time that had this idea of like, oh yeah, the animation is drawn and projected in front of a live audience live.
Right, right. It's really fucking annoying. But yeah, so like after like so there would be kind of like a year in between their next like iteration of Scooby-Doo, which it really didn't change much, I should say, like as like characters and whatnot. The new Scooby It would be called the new Scooby-Doo movies. This would be from 1972 to 1973. So only about a year or so, right?
Mm.
And this is where Scooby-Doo would add in special guests to their show, like celebrities of the time, right? And these were very long episodes, they definitely were movies, if you would say, because they were an hour-long episodes. You'll actually love this because like Batman and Robin were one of their special guests.
Oh, I know of that, yeah. Because Super Friends was
Yeah,
going on
and
around that time, I'm pretty sure.
literally in quotation mark for that specific episode, I said Joker and Penguin forklift certified
Oh
because like
yeah, that episode was featured in Batman: The Brave and the Bold. Yeah, I remember that
yeah,
one now. Yeah,
yeah,
Joker
and
and
I think
Penguin forklift certified.
I thought that shit was so fucking funny because in my head I was thinking of like, oh, how could we could do a dub of this because like it'd be like, haha, Freddie Prince William or how what's
Freddie
Freddie's
Prinze
last name again?
Jr.
Freddie Prince Jr. We've got you stuck in our sticky cum. You can't stop us. We're forklift certified.
We do a fucking Dragon Ball abridged version of this Batman Scooby Doo crossover.
Yeah,
I
I
would
fucking would love.
absolutely be on board for that.
Dear view listeners, look out in the future on the main channel for a dub.
It's not
Uh,
it's not like Adam West Batman, where he's like, I'm going to stop you, Joker. It's like Christian Bale, where he's like, I'm going to fuck you, Joker.
Fuck you and your certification.
It's Ben Affleck Batman on Super Friends Batman.
Yeah.
I will fucking kill you.
And like all the while, Robin is still his same voice. Is like, Batman, you sound so different.
Yeah,
Like, are
it's
you
fucking
okay?
Burt Ward as Robin.
Yeah.
Are you alright?
Shut the fuck up, Robin.
Are you alright? Robin, I thought you were dead. I thought the Joker killed you. Why do you have a
Okay.
gun?
Get
Don't ask
back.
questions.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Scoob, do you know how to use an automatic rifle? Well, you're gonna learn today.
But yeah, we're moving on.
Mikey?
Who are some of the celebrity guests on the Scooby-Doo movies?
So, like, obviously Batman and Robin, but you
Oh.
also have like people like Dick Van Dyke,
Uh-huh.
the Harlem Globetrotters of that time.
Oh.
The father and the mother. I think it's like Jodie Foster from the Addams Family. Is that her name? The which
Oh, did they have a crossover with Adam's Family?
They did. I
Oh.
think it was specifically for the mother and the father. I forget who those actors' names were at the time, but there were a lot of celebrities of that time. It's like, for that time. So there's a lot of names that probably you or I don't recognize. But also they would do crossovers with Hanna-Barbera related characters, also in that same kind of like family tree, because they also did an episode with the speed buggy. By the way, I forgot to mention, I don't know what Hanna-Barbera thought they were doing, but like they added a lot of like look-alike and similar characters and shows. Basically, they're like reskinned Scooby-Doo, right? Or like they have the talking animal or object. Like they had Speed Buggy, they had Jabberjaw, they had Captain Caveman, and they had like their teenager counterparts that were like solving mysteries and stuff like that. Actually, didn't they have an episode dedicated to all those people in like Mystery Incorporated one time?
I don't know, but I know that I think we'll talk about this movie in a bit, but in the recent movie Scoob, they tried to turn that into like the Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe begins here, and they had
Oh,
like
yeah, I think that's where
Dick,
that's from. Yeah,
the
yeah,
bad
yeah.
guy Dick, and who's the guy who wears like the blue? Is his name literally Blue Falcon? Is that his name?
Oh, yeah, the Blue Falcon. Yeah.
That is, I was about to say the Blue Falcon suit. I was like, wait, his name is Blue Falcon, ain't it? He has like a space dog, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, doesn't Blue Falcon have a space dog that's literally just Scooby Doo in space? Like how Pluto has that, like in reference to Mickey Mouse, like how Pluto has that
Yeah,
space version of him that appears sometimes in the Mickey Mouse clubhouse with Space
yeah,
Mickey. It's like the fairies and anti fairies and fucking Fairly Odd
right.
Parents. Yeah.
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera really try to capitalize on that like popular type of just like style of cartoon, which I'll be
Recycled
honest with you,
animation.
they didn't last very long. Let's just say that. But
Mm.
anyway, to continue, I wanted to also specifically talk about like the Harlem Globetrotters episode. Basically, that the whole thing of that episode is that the Harlem Globetrotters are about to go against, I think, the Scorpions, where they were called, right? And the basically, I think the boss and his little henchmen, who are like the owners or the coaches for the Scorpions, basically try to scare the Harlem Globetrotters so they stay awake and get tired for for the game day and lose, right? And it's kind of wild because like that the Scorpion team, all white. Very, very strong racial undertones in that. I mean, definitely probably because of the time, right? Definitely. But I just think that's interesting. Also, you know what they do to like get the Harlem Globetrotters to wake up? Stag literally dumps ice into their fucking pants so they wake up immediately and they start playing again. I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. That would last for about 2 seasons. So this 1973 would be about the ending of the CBS era,
Mm.
because it would be handed over to the ABC, and that would be a very long stretch from 1976 all the way up to 1991. Like I was trying to do some research on it. They didn't really specifically give a reason of why CBS handed it over to ABC. I was thinking it's probably that like ABC gave Hanna-Barbera either probably more freedom to do stuff with or a better paycheck or a
Yeah,
better deal is what
it
that's
probably
what I would assume.
it probably was like maybe the syndication rights or contract or whatever ran out, and Hanna Barbera's like, okay, we're all done with you. I guess we'll move on to whoever else has like money that they can give us. So you're probably right that like they went with ABC for like I don't know more money or whatever. That they were offering more for the syndication rights for Scooby Doo or Hanna Barbera related television shows and whatnot. But yeah,
Right. So the next iteration would be the Scooby Doo show. Now, this would be considered the longest stretch of Scooby Doo episodes, or just like time period before Scrappy Doo
mm-hmm.
would show up. I guess you could consider it pre and post Scrappy Doo eras now.
uh,
So this is the last iteration before Scrappy Doo would show up, and that would last for about 3 seasons, stretching from 1976 to 1978. I watched the first episode of this, and you know what it was like. The main premise, right, is that not the main premise, but like so like the formula is still relatively the same. You know, just like bad guy trying to dress up as ghoul monster goes to rob or steal something or stop something, right?
mm-hmm.
So the concept is the same. However, this is kind of like the era where they're kind of out of high school. Like Scooby Doo, Where Are You was kind of like them still in school and whatnot. And this is just kind of like a side game. Now it's more of like not necessarily their entire lives, but like they're out of high school at this point. Or out of school at this point. And
Mm-hmm.
literally the scene was like they're sitting in like a pizzeria and they eat this big ass pizza and then Fred's just like, well, gang, that was the last of our money. If we want more food, we're gonna gotta have jobs. Me and Shag will go and find some jobs, right? And so literally they go to the local construction yard and they're like, hey boss, can we get a job? And the guy's just like, well, yeah, all the other fucking employees got scared off by this fucking crazy guy. We're up on this like skyscraper that they're building, right? And he's like, well, I'll pick both of you, right? And they're like, oh, there's a monster here. Well, Fred is like, me and Shag will work at this job while you girls go look up some research. I'm like, damn, they didn't want the women to work on that shit, huh? Like it's like the man has to get the job.
You're not strong
uh,
enough to work here in the construction yard. Why don't you go do the whole entire research by yourself? Whatever.
yeah, so
Yeah.
like the first episode is just simply like the Scooby-Doo gang is poor and broke and needs to do odd jobs to make money, and they just happen to fucking also do like mystery solving on the side as well.
I
This
love
is
that.
also when we would
How reality just hits the Scooby game where it's like, well, we're not young anymore. We need to pay our fucking bills, you know?
we can't eat unless we get get paid, and obviously we're not doing the fucking the mystery solving out of the kindness of our hearts
Yeah, solving crime
anymore.
doesn't pay. Literally.
Literally,
I need to
yeah.
pay my taxes. It's getting ridiculous. I need a job.
So later in the second season, they would actually add a kind of like how they added Scrappy Doo. They added another dog, almost exactly like Scooby, but dumber and made him look like a fucking chipmunk and sound like a fucking chipmunk. His name
Oh.
is Scooby Dumb. Dum.
Oh,
Dumb.
oh, it's basically like the fucking bootleg Crash Bandicoot plush that got turned into an actual character in the games.
Yes,
Wow.
basically, yeah. And literally the first episode that I saw them, I kid you not, they go to fucking Skull Island.
Really?
Like,
That's in the
okay, so
original cartoons.
so it's not like the Skull Island like of King Kong, right? But it's very heavily like literally they show an image of it and it's literally Skull Island and they say it's Skull Island. And like I'm like, what the
That
fuck
wasn't even
did you
public
do?
domain yet. Universal had every right
Yeah,
to be like, hey, wait a minute.
yeah, literally. And like they're like, yeah, they say that there's vampires on there and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
And like Yeah, and so they're on a ferry boat, and like literally they're about, I forget what the reason that they're even going to Skull Island. I think it's like Velma's friend or some shit like that, right? That they're going to meet. And literally just before they drive off the ferry, right, the ship captain stops them and he's like, "Hey, can you carry this shit all the way to the port?" And like Fred's just like, I guess, yeah, sure. I'm like, me, I've been like, what? No. And literally when they go to pick it up, it's a fucking coffin. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well,
Uh
Philip, we can't name the island Vampire Island. That's too conspicuous. We need to name
that's
it
too
Skull
conspicuous.
Island to be inconspicuous, okay?
Yeah, exactly. And
Hey, we got
so
another coffin
basically
shipment for Skull Island, Bob.
and so what happens is that like both Scoob and Dumb literally pick it up, and Dumb's like, "Okay, let's put it in." And they're putting it inside, or try to put it in sideways. And Scoob's like, "No, Dumb, you gotta put it in, you gotta turn it." And like Dumb's like, "Oh yeah." And then I don't know how he has this strength, but he pushes the Scooby machine, or like the mystery machine, sideways, and fucking Scoop's like, "No, Dom, you gotta turn the coffin sideways." And like he's like, "Oh, okay." And so they turn it sideways and they throw it in there, and it bounces back, and the coffin opens up, and they look in there. It's like, "Oh my god, the coffin's empty!" But then a massive fucking bat flies out, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a vampire!" And that is literally all I watched of that. And I was like, oh my God. Who thought this was a good idea to add this like fucking mentally retarded Scooby-Doo
it
character to this show? Like what
it's like
value did it add?
it's like in the Flintstones at a certain point in time where they were like running out of ideas because the show had been running for like too long, I would say. They literally were like,
Right.
why don't we add this interdimensional little alien buddy to the show? That will do numbers. It did
Yeah.
not. It fucking killed the Flintstones for decades. This
Yeah.
The
Well,
relevancy of that character is having one little cameo in Family Guy nowadays.
right.
It's it's like, oh wow, let's just make our own Batmite. Sure, why not? I feel like characters like that is out of desperation to make the show, or like give something new for the show, because kind of like you said, the show still has that copy and paste formula of, unmask the monster. Turns out it's old man Jenkins who was jorking his
That's all,
ween in
man.
the back of the bathroom and got upset when like a woman caught him because he was in the girls' bathroom or whatever. I don't know, but but it's but it's the thing where they try to introduce something new, especially a character that even Fairly Odd Parents suffered from this. For like a modern example,
Right.
with that dog that they introduced that literally fucks off next season, and then they're like, now Timmy has to share his fairies with a Goyle, and then that shit
Yeah.
didn't go well, and that show,
Oh,
and then Fairly Odd Parents got like forever canceled.
exactly.
Okay, hold
Goddamn
on,
Butch
my
Hartman.
headphones died. 1 second. So sorry, folks.
Do 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 do
Hold on.
do 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 do
God
do
damn it!
do
It can never
do
fucking
do
work.
do
There we
do
go.
do
I
do 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 do
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Everything can be picked up on OBS because the computer's like, oh yeah, you still talking about headphones. Are like, fucking dead. Can't hear shit.
Uh,
But yeah, as I was saying, it's. I feel like, if I remember correctly, Scrappy Doo was another result of basically trying to refresh the show with something new, aka another character that nobody's going to like.
yeah, we're actually about to get to that point
All
now.
right.
Enough. So, do you have any final thoughts before we move on?
About like that era of Scooby Doo, or about like introducing a new character?
Or do you want to hold your thought on continuing on that once I explain the next era
I
real
guess I
quick?
guess I'll hold on to that. We can continue.
Okay. So basically, like, so after this ends, we get like it's 1979, right? The only thing that like came out right before Scrappy Doo was introduced was Scooby-Doo Goes to Hollywood, which was kind of like when Hanna-Barbera was like, "Hey, yeah, so Scooby-Doo, it's basically been 10 years on the air and we're running out of like time and just like really creative steam on this because like working on a single piece of media for like 10 years is a lot to like do for like creative experience, right? Like
Mm.
that's 10 years worth of like creating something, or new things for, and they were definitely feeling like the fatigue of that. And like Scooby-Doo Goes to Hollywood kind of like was their, I guess, artistic way of like representing that. Scooby-Doo in this movie was just kind of like, by the way, this was the very first direct to DVD, or well, I guess you could say direct to VHS at this
Yeah,
time,
direct to video.
probably
Yeah.
direct to video. So like, yay, we're finally there for the Scooby Doo franchise. But like, this is with the kind of like their love letter to saying like, hey, we are tired. We don't think we can do this anymore. We're running out of steam. Whereas like, because like in the movie, like Scooby was just like off doing his own thing, and like the whole gang, like both Shaggy and Scooby, but the entire crowd, which is supposed to represent the fan base, was just like Scooby Doo, come back, come back. And eventually they're like, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. And Scooby Doo came back with a very shitty iteration that everybody fucking hates. Scooby Doo and Scrappy Doo, 1979 to 1980.
Ugh,
So this would be the mark of like, oh my god,
this is the
the
end.
Scooby Doo. This is the end, right? This is when Scrappy was introduced, obviously by the title, right? The reason that he was added was because ABC was was threatening to cancel the show due to low ratings. So adding Scrappy Doo, the nephew of Scooby Doo, was like part of like Hanna-Barbera's revamp of Scooby Doo. Not only was that happening, but this was also the first season of this iteration was also the last season that we'd ever hear the laugh track. And again, that's part of like them revamping Scooby Doo. And also to
Mm.
change it up a little bit, the formula up a little bit, the villains were now like or like the real villains, like like the Batman villains, like they actually are just like evil because they're evil, right? It's like I've rigged an entire boat to explode for my own
Oh
evil
my
mean
god!
Batman.
Oh my god! Freaking Scoot the Mystery Inc. has to deal with the boat situation from the Dark Knight.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
I've rigged both of these boats with explosives, and I've given the trigger to the prisoners and to the people. It will be decided by a certain time if one of these boats will blow up the other, and if that time comes to pass, I will fucking blow them up myself.
Hey, Uncle Scoob, I say you let me at him, let me
Who
at that Joker. I'll get him, yeah. Oh,
who
puppy
the fuck who the
power.
fuck is this little shit? Shoots him.
I kid you not.
Hit me.
I
Hit
kid you
me.
not.
Hit me.
Hit me. Oh my god. Liam, I can't tell you how horrible, like I can't tell you how bad this character was because like something also to add before I continue with my little rant about Scrappy Doo or begin my rant, I should say. This is also when like Velma and Freddy and Daphne began to disappear from Scooby Doo for a little while,
Oof.
right? Like they would still be in here for one season, but then they would basically be gone. Like Daphne would be gone for 3 years after this point,
Holy
after the
shit.
first season, and then fucking both Freddy and Velma would be gone for 4 years. Um,
Whoa.
yeah, so they're completely like written out of the show. Like, well, not completely. They had like kind of like cameos, like they would have like voice lines or something like that, or like maybe you might see them for just a second, right? But for the most part, they would be gone 3 to 4 years.
That's so
But
weird because I know that in the miniseries right after, these characters do come back, or at least Daphne in some capacity.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we'll
For
get there.
the
The
we'll
third,
get there. Yeah,
yeah, we'll get there.
yeah, we'll get to that. But just from watching one episode, I wanted to kick fucking Scrappy Doo so fucking hard. Like I literally like his voice is annoying. He every fucking thing he says, it has to be like let him or like puppy power in that fucking annoying voice, dude. And
Oh,
literally, like, I swear to God, like, I think most of the dialogue is from Scrappy himself, right? And I mean, and then you would have, like, Scrappy Doo basically is the main character, and then you have
oh,
supporting characters, both Shaggy and Scooby, and they'll have a little bit extra in there. And then fucking fuck off with fucking Freddy and Daphne and Velma. Now they have a little bit, but not nothing at all. Like it's
oh,
it's crazy, man. And it's I can understand I can see why people fucking hated it.
oh
But
my
they did this
God.
for so long. It took them so goddamn long to get rid of him. Like so long, Liam. You don't
Oh
know.
my God. I can't
So
see. I can understand like why they would like get rid of Fred, Daphne, and Velma. Shaggy and Scooby were easily like one of the most focused on characters because they were the comedic relief, right? We've talked about it on the podcast before in the Disney and Pixar episode in relation to Cars 2. We've seen what happens when you just give the comedic relief their own movie. It just or own show. It just doesn't go well sometimes. Cause there's a reason why the comedic relief is like, yeah, they get focus, but they're also like part of a greater main cast, and they like, I would say, level things out, I guess. Bring something to the atmosphere to like tone it down a little bit. I would say, you know, or bring things down to earth. But I it sucks to say that like I think Shaggy and Scooby are good characters, right? But they're definitely balanced
right.
out by Velma, Daphne, and Fred because of their personalities and their intelligence, especially, and just doing the two comedic relief characters and then an annoying fucking halfwit. That's just a formula for destruction, for disappointment. And the fan base that you had up until that point, that you so desperately inserted into the Las Vegas movie, clamoring for Scooby Doo to come back, this ain't the shit that they want. They already had this shit with a fucking retarded dog in the previous show, okay? They didn't
Also, it was
want that.
Hollywood, not Vegas.
Oh, what'd you say?
It was actually Hollywood, not Vegas.
Okay, yeah. It's like, no, they already went through this shit, and you're just gonna do it again, but with a more annoying character. And I can see why they were like, okay, people don't like this in any of our shows. No more annoying characters. The Flintstones died this way. We can't have Scooby
Yeah,
Doo
exactly.
die this way
Yeah.
either.
But it would take him fucking basically 4 or 5 years to get rid of fucking Scrappy, you know.
Mm.
Uh because like they would continue, let's see, blah blah blah. From like basically like the Scrappy Doo show, Scooby Doo and Scrappy Doo specifically lasted from like 1979 all the way up until 1982, and then kind of like ending. Well, that iteration would kind of end on with so this is a weird fucking name. The Scooby Doo and Scrappy Doo slash Puppy Hour, which is basically like they've took again, you know how like I think I said earlier they had like a collaboration with like some of their other Hanna-Barbera licenses and people in groups or whatever shows, right? Well, they kind of did that here again, kind of like to cap off the like Scooby Doo Scrappy Doo, Scooby Doo, and Shaggy are traveling out west, and they meet Scrappy, which is like I guess the cousin of Shaggy or the brother or something like that. But he's like a deputy, and there's also Yabba Doo, which is like the his dog, which is the uncle of Scrappy Doo.
Wait, his
And
name is Yabadoo?
Yabba-doo, yeah.
Oh boy, I wonder what that's referencing.
Yabba-dabba-doo! And that only really lasted a couple of months. I think it was like 13-ish episodes, something like that.
Oh,
Like I think it like ran from like September to December of that year of 1982.
the video game crash of 1982 killed Scooby-Doo.
Basically, it took fucking the hellish Scrappy Doo with it
E.T.
back
brought E.T. took Scrappy with it into the fucking landfill.
cast the demon back from whence it came. The trash it came from, the trash it shall return to. Uh, but no, also I forgot there was also like the puppy hour, right? I think that was like a shoot off of Scrappy Doo where it was just a simply like little dogs, right? There was like two other little dogs and Scrappy Doo, and I guess they
Ew.
solved mysteries or whatever. I forget exactly what it was. It's very short lived, but they were also part of that like puppy hour Scrappy Scooby Doo thing. I don't know. It was weird. I just wanted to mention it.
So after this, is it the mini series that I'm thinking of? The one that you were like, Liam, this is great, but the movie follow up is awful.
Like the 13th
Yeah,
Ghost?
that.
No.
Damn
We're
it.
almost there though. We're kind of like in the precursor to that
Okay.
because there's an important character that returns to that. So at this point, 1983 to 1984, it is now called the new Scooby-Doo and Scrappy Show for the first season. But then I think Hanna-Barbera finally has enough of Scrappy-Doo and then recalls it the new Scooby-Doo Mystery on the second season. But still, Scrappy-Doo is a part of the show, but he's a much more reduced role.
Okay.
Now, what's important is in the second season, or no, the first season, Daphne makes a return finally after 3 years of being gone. And so, like Daphne and Scooby and Shaggy are all the very more important characters in this show. Scrappy Doo finally starting to take more of like a secondary supportive role and just shutting the fuck up.
Oh, thank
And
God.
then finally, in the final season of that, which I think there was only two, yeah, there's only two seasons of this show. Fred and Velma finally make briefly return
Ugh.
after a 4 year absence. And something to note about like this series, I didn't get to watch an episode, but basically this is where like Hanna Barbera was trying to mix old elements of Scooby Doo back into like the newer mix of the show. So like you get a lot of like those classic like oh it's a villain or it's a guy just trying to fucking steal his mama's purse, so he dresses up like the dead father. So and then he has like sex with his mom or something like
Oh.
that. You know, like the real classic old Scooby Doo.
Oh, yeah, classic Scooby-Doo incest. Yeah.
I told you this was gonna be a spooky
Next
episode.
up, gang, we're going to Utah and checking out a Mormon town.
I hope you don't like monogamy. So finally, we would move on to something that I find like I haven't watched a lot of it, but the what I have watched, it's really really good. The 13 Ghosts that came out in 1985. It was only 13 episodes, but it would have a very interesting voice actor added to it. He played Vincent Van Ghoul, voiced by Vincent Price. He's a very well known like voice
Oh.
actor. So basically, the plot of that is that Daphne, Shaggy, Scooby, Scrappy Doo, and for some fucking reason, an Asian child named Flim Flam.
Wait,
We're riding on Daphne's
what?
plane.
Flim
Don't
Flim
ask me.
Flam?
Yeah, his name was
That's
Flim
his
Flam.
name?
That was his name. I laughed when I figured out what his fucking name was.
No, that can't
Yeah, his name's
be.
Flim Flam.
You can't stand here or sit there and tell me that these people were like, what do we name the Asian kid? Oh, fucking no. Can't name
Flim
him.
Flam.
Can't name him the old things that we used to name our Asian kids in these cartoons because
Oh
everything
my
is
god.
sensitive. We'll call him Flim Flam. No, I think that's worse. Because what the fuck is Flim Flam?
Yeah. So like, and by the way, they were on Daphne's plane. Daphne
Uh-huh.
was flying this plane. They were just on a trip to Honolulu for a vacation, and then they fucking crash land on an island that just happens to be like where Vincent Van Price is at, and it's like, don't open the fucking chest or we'll
Vincent
unleash
Van
fucking
Price.
yeah, Vincent Price, sorry. But it's just like, don't open the chest. And then they open the fucking chest, and all the fucking demons just come out that will destroy the fucking world. And so basically, it's up to the mystery gang of these two people, or not these two people, except for fucking Fred and Velma, basically to stop basically the ending the world. So basically, the plot of Ghostbusters, but not in New York.
So they opened the Ark of the Covenant and let these
Basically,
spirits
yeah.
go. What the
You know,
fuck?
yeah. Also, Scrappy Doo is here. Did I
You
mention
did
that he's
mention
still
that
here?
he is here, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, along with
Yeah.
Flim Flam, yeah.
So they would later have a sequel to this. It come out in recent time, The 13th Ghost, which actually explains where both Fred and Velma were the whole time during these events, which they were just at summer camp.
Bruh.
Yeah. Yep. Just at summer camp. Do you have any questions about that,
If I
or I'm
remember
gonna keep on
correctly,
going?
when you were telling me about this a while ago, you said that that it ended off on a cliffhanger, that they never found the 13th ghost, and that was basically what the 13th ghost movie is about, is getting that ghost, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Do you think that the 13th ghost, like, as a mini series, is especially following up from the cursed Scrappy Doo era and kind of sidelining Scrappy, is it any good? Do you think it's any good?
I think it's good because, like, like again, Scrappy, like he's still there, but I think that Hanna-Barbera realized that fans were pissed and did not like him, and so they were just like, he's just gonna be a background character. And this is
Okay.
also the beginning of the Red Shirt Shaggy era,
Oh
which
yeah, you were telling me
actually
that too.
which also, now that I'm kind of like been doing more research, it didn't actually really last that long, or it was not really that significant of an era that people, in my opinion, make it out to be. Because like literally, it was the 13 Ghosts, and then it was only in three other direct-to-video movies, which was Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers, Scooby-Doo and Ghoul School, and Scooby-Doo Reluctant Werewolf, and that's it. Basically, it's just simply a redesign of Shaggy. Again, like, Hanna-Barbera still at this time is trying to do kind of like revamp
Yeah.
and kind of redesign characters and stuff like that. Hell, even fucking
Yeah,
Velma, or not
Velma
Velma,
had a
Velma.
redesign. She had like
No,
adventurer
no,
gear on. Like she's getting ready for the forest. She's got the
no,
boots.
not in
She's
this
like,
one.
no, not Velma. Daphne got a
Yeah.
redesign of 13th Ghost. She had like a jacket and boots on. Like she's like, I'm going on a hike.
You know what she looks like? She has a jumpsuit and like has like kind of like a much shorter hair, or like not shorter hair, but like
Yeah.
hair that's more volume. She
Hmm.
looks like fucking April O'Neil from like
Ninja
the classic
Turtles.
April O'Neil from Ninja Turtles, yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look up a reference while you talk.
But anyway, like I don't like, a lot of people bring up Red Shirt Shaggy, but then when I did research into it, he wasn't there for very,
Oh
very
yeah, she
long,
does
or
wear a
like
jumpsuit, but she also has like a vest and like a couple of other ones. Also, what the fuck is this image? Here, I'm gonna send this to you. What is that?
what the
Villainous Beauties Wiki. Daphne Blake, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo. What?
when you're editing the podcast, put that up on screen for everybody else to see.
Oh, I
I
will.
don't
I
recognize.
will.
So like, damn, she be that fucking that divorced mom at that fucking hunts for like college jocks to date, to take home.
She looks like
Ugh.
that. She looks like she's been smoking that pack for 40 years. Like
She be
Shaggy,
smoking that pack.
Scooby, it's me, Daphne Blake. I haven't seen you in a long time.
It's been since high school. I haven't seen you since the reunion.
I've been
It's good to see you, Shaggy.
I've been smoking these Newports for about 50 years now. Ever since we broke up the gang, I've been on that pack. All my life savings have gone into Newports. I'm practically a stock owner at this point. I haven't heard you laugh this hard in a long time. Holy shit.
Shaggy, I'm on them.
You got any menthol, Shaggy?
Oh my god!
Got any icebreakers? Whatever they're called. Shaggy, you gotta hook me up with a couple of Marlboros. Special Blood 100 spread pack.
I'm feeding for a rip. Oh my god.
I don't do any of that jewel shit.
Come on, Shaggy, you gotta have a pack.
You gotta
Listen,
have
I'll
something.
suck you on behind.
I'll take your weed. I'll take anything at this point, baby. I'll suck your dick for some Newports. I swear to God.
Oh my god! Shut the fuck up. Oh my god, my stomach hurts.
You know that billboard that says I'll walk a mile for a camel? I do that every day. Good exercise.
Oh my god, can you pause the recording? Hold on.
Okay, hold on.
Pause it
I'm
first.
tearing up. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we had to pause for a moment to recuperate from our laughing session.
My fucking abs hurt so fucking bad.
my
I hope
cheeks
you all
hurt.
enjoyed that shit so much.
Oh, I haven't laughed that hard in such a long time. Holy cow.
Oh yeah, Shaggy, your cheeks hurting for that pack?
My cheeks are hurting. You know those old commercials where people would tear off parts of their body for cigarettes at the clown smoke shop? That was me. I do that every day. Oh,
You know, Shaggy, since I've been gone for 3 years, it's been hard to make ends meet. Cause that damn dog, Scrappy-Doo, done stole my light. Now I smoke a pack of Newports every night.
What makes this funnier is that this image comes from Villainous Beauty's wiki on fandom.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. Let's get back. Where the fuck were we even at?
Oh, I think we're moving on from. I asked you a question about the 13 Ghosts was any good, and I was talking about Daphne's design because I think I mixed it up. But yeah, she is in an April O'Neil type jumpsuit, which given I don't know when the Ninja Turtles cartoon came out in the 80s, but given that, what did you say? This came out in 1985. I guess that would be kind of popular because April O'Neil was a very popular cartoon, female cartoon character around that time. So I guess if we put Daphne in the jumpsuit and give her a similar hairdo, then we can bring some people back. I guess I don't know.
I think that definitely was I definitely think that was intentional. Definitely, yeah. That is definitely significant redesign, and again, like I said, the start of the Red Shaggy era, but didn't last very long. So yeah, after this, they would have a couple directed to video, or not a couple, 3 direct to video movies: Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, and Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. All would be, red shirt Shaggy and stuff like that. But but not a lot to say about those. They're just kind of more of like wacky races for the reluctant werewolf. The Ghoul School just kind of taking classic monsters like Dracula and Frankenstein, but having their kids be like basically just like, oh, it's
Oh,
a school for like monster children and whatnot.
it's
Play
like
very playful, you know.
it's like that Casper 3D animated school show. You know that one.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. But then finally, after that, in 1988, which significantly, you know, this is like without, like, obviously there was like reruns of Scooby-Doo and stuff like that, but this is like 3 years of just not anything new Scooby-Doo besides the direct-to-video stuff, right?
So it was kind of dead for a while.
Dead for a while. This is kind of like, I guess you could say this is like the snowball effect of like they're just not, like, Scooby Doo is waning, kind of, right? Like this is like
He's
the
waiting.
I would say this is like the beginning of the end for like the old Scooby
The
Doo, right?
original run, the
But
end of an era.
yeah, well, I mean, like obviously the original era, yeah. So in 1988, a pup named Scooby Doo would come out, and that would last until 1991. It would have 4 seasons, and this would be considered the end of the ABC era. Later would be going over to Warner Brothers after this. But really, I think a pup named Scooby Doo was trying to like their last chance of like, okay, we're gonna revive this and get it. Like
Oh,
people are gonna like love it.
isn't that the baby
Um,
show? Were they all like
Yeah,
babies?
it's it's like the little kids show, like where it's like it's like they make the adult characters, but as kids
But as
now.
kids, yeah,
Basically,
like
they were trying to kind of ride the coattails of Tiny Toon Adventures, which made the Looney Tunes
uh,
into kind of like
you're thinking of two
no,
different
no, wait,
shows. I know what you're
two
thinking
different
of
shows.
because
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was like because I know that baby Looney Tunes show. I watched a few rerun episodes, of course, on like Cartoon Network or something. But yeah, Tiny Toons was a completely different show. Same team of creators as Batman the Animated Series. Funny enough, eventually,
really,
yeah. Paul Dini and
gotcha.
like Bruce Timm and like I think Alan Burnett and a couple of other like significant names that would go on to be part of Batman the Animated Series because they worked at Warner Brothers and some of them also worked on Animaniacs with Steven Spielberg.
Right.
But anyway, yeah.
Um, Yeah, and it was a pretty popular show. Like it was very kiddish compared. Like the animation style was very different from like, well, like Scooby Doo definitely had some of those like very original cartoon stuff where like like where they'll like run in place for a moment, right? Or like they'll be held by their coattail and they can't go
Mm-hmm.
anywhere, right? Well, like anime, like there would be like, how like when two characters get into a fight and it's just like a dust cloud with like hands popping out and fists coming out and like loud noises, like that's the kind of like anime. It's like very, very like Looney Tune-ish, like if that would be a good way to describe it,
Mm.
like with the animation and like really the again like it's just like a different villain from a different day, right? It's like, oh, like this guy, like there's a monster that like kidnaps dogs, and so like the pup named Scooby-Doo is a pup gets kidnapped and they got to figure out who the kidnapper is, right? And literally Fred, there's one character called Red Herring, right? Like the plot device,
My God,
Red Herring. It's
we
like
have McGuffin.
Nick Guff, literally, yeah. So like, and Fred is always first to blame Red Herring as the culprit for whatever the villain is, or he could be the villain, and he never turns out to be the villain. Now, Red Herring is like always like that bully type. He's like that bully type kid, he bullies Fred and stuff like that. So like, Fred has obviously like a grudge against them, but like, that's just some like points. You also get to meet like Scoob's like mom and dad. That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
But like there's not a like obviously it's like a good time to watch, but there's no like continuity. It's just like another Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah,
Nothing is completely like,
canon.
yeah, canon. It's just like different day, different villain.
Yeah.
Um, and then so after 1991, like it would basically be quiet for quite a long time,
Until
like up until like for like 7 years. Uh,
until
and then until until they were like, you know what? We're tired of that baby shit. We're tired of just like it's gonna be a villain or some guy in a mask. No, we're gonna take it a little bit more seriously. The monsters are for really real, gang. And Lord and behold, the best, in my opinion, the best direct to DVD movie for Scooby Doo came out in 1998. Scooby Doo and Zombie Island.
mm,
Oh my God,
the
Liam.
beginning of a
This
new era.
the beginning of a new
We got
awesome
our
fucking era. This is
we got our big boy pants
yeah,
now.
literally. This would be I would say this is like the new like the modern generation of like Scooby Doo. Like the monsters are real this time. Like the things are taking them like they're taking things more seriously. Like, like you've got like Scooby Doo Zombie Island is like kind of like the mystery gang has gotten into more of their adult lives. Like I would say like definitely reaching their like mid to late 20s. Fred and Daphne have like a paranormal show where they go and trying to investigate actual occurrences of paranormal activity. And like they never really get anything, but they're still trying. Goob and Shag are TSA agents, and Velma is just still kind of like I would say she like I forget what exactly her role is. Like she's not like a librarian, but I think she's like a bookstore owner when it comes to like paranormal investigation and stuff like
Oh,
that.
she's
Like
like she's like Ray in Ghostbusters 2, where he owns his own
ye-
little occult bookstore. Yeah.
yeah, kind of something like that. So like the entire gang, like they still like know each other and stuff like that and like still talk, but like they're just like gone their separate ways. And I forget exactly what spurs them to rejoin. I think it's more of just like Daphne and Fred just want to see the old gang and like they got like a scoop for like maybe like one of their new show or something like that. And eventually it leads them down to Louisiana, right? And they find out that there is this old plantation house in the swamp with that's haunted, like true haunting. And so they go to investigate, and at first, like they don't really believe it. Velma is always is like definitely the skeptic, and tries to punch holes through things and stuff like that. But then shit starts to kind of like come up, like Scoob and Shag fall into this fucking hole, right? And they try to climb out of it, and a skeleton is revealed, and a spirit takes it over and becomes like a zombie. And like at first Scooby Doo or like at first like they don't the gang doesn't believe them, right? Well, more shit happens. Zombies actually start appearing. Like Fred like thinks that this guy is a mask, right? He pulls the fucking head off of this corpse, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's fucking real." And dude, once that happens, the first fucking song starts to play. It's terror time again. Then I don't know the rest of the song, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
fucking great fucking song. It like you listen, just listen, just like look up the soundtrack. It's amazing. But like turns out that that the zombies weren't the real problem. It turns out that the homeowners worship a cat god, and
Oh.
they are now like trying to sacrifice Fred, Velma, and Daphne, and also the gardener that was there to like basically keep their immortality.
Oh.
Right. So like yeah, so basically it's like when the people first settled this little island in the swamp, they were just like peaceful settlers from the old world, right? And they believed in a cat god, right? Well, guess what? Fucking pirates came and like literally pushed all their people into the swamps, and they got eaten by alligators
Oh
except
my
two people, and those are
god.
those two homeowners were like the original survivors of that group. And they basically prayed to their cat god, and their cat god basically turned them into cat monsters, like werewolves but cats. Um,
Oh.
and so literally the cat
Mm.
people killed all the pirates, and they used the ship. to rebuild their plantation house. And as new settlers have come to like the island and stuff like that, and or people from tourists, they've just been killing peoples for generation and generations. And the zombies are actually trying to help save Scoob and the gang from them also, falling to that same fate. So basically the zombies were actually turned out to be the good guys. And basically they kill the cat people through I forget how they kill the fucking cat people. They do something and it basically dissolves the cat people, I think.
Uh,
And then they die.
I thought of something funny. It's like Shaggy and Scooby are like walking along a path and they hear rustling in the bushes, and Scooby's like, "Hear that, Reggie?" And it's just the head of a Khajiit comes out. He's like, "Khajiit has wares."
Yeah. But basically, yeah,
Kareem
that's
Reggie.
that movie.
Yeah, I'm checking the
Um,
I'm checking the time. I know that we planned for about 2.5 hours, but we can go a little longer. We're about like
uh,
2 hours
I
and
will.
20 minutes in.
Okay, I'll speed it up a little bit.
So,
Basically, so the three movie. Oh, sorry. You want to say something?
oh,
Sorry.
because it's like there's still plenty of like we have Mystery Incorporated, the show to cover, and then there's like a bunch of the other direct to video. But uh, we can push for 3 hours, I guess.
Maybe not. But let's just
Let's
try
see
to
how it
like
goes. Let's
keep
see how it
pace.
goes. Yeah, let's talk about like because there's two eras of the Scooby Doo movies that I think about. There's pre Matthew Lillard and then there's post Matthew Lillard. That's how I break them up.
Definitely, yes.
And pre Matthew Lillard has some great stuff in it, like Zombie Island, The Witch's Ghost, which I watched the ending for like the last like 30 minutes I think on Cartoon Network one night a long time ago, and that shit actually
Right.
spooked me because like I would have like nightmares of this like witch animatronic thing that we used to have, and the fucking witch ghost did not help. But I barely saw the hex girls, so I was like, ah. Later in life, I'm like,
A
oh
shame.
no, no hex girls for me. But yeah, I
Listen,
think I,
I'm gonna just make this point about Hex Girls before we move on.
yeah,
I
go
love
ahead.
the fucking Hex Girls. I think the Hex Girls have been underutilized in the entire fucking franchise since they've been existed because they only have like three fucking songs. Fuck you, Warner Brother or Hanna Barbera Warner Brothers. You need to utilize them fucking more.
Yeah, they need
And
their own.
three, I love you, Dusk. I always will. You'll always be my favorite. Okay, rant done. Continue.
They need their own album, is what I'm gonna say.
Yes.
CD, vinyl, do a whole. Get the original Hex Girls from The Witch's Ghost, get them into a band, have them do a whole original album. That'll be fantastic.
Right.
But yeah, from what I hear, a lot of the movies around this time are considered like some of the best of the best, like Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, Cyber Chase. The only thing I really know about Cyber Chase is that one video of the video game covered by Ketikarus, and
Yeah.
good video. But he calls the ghost Spindly Johnny. I love it, and I think there's a couple of others too. Like there's one with the Wolf Man. I'm pretty sure that's also around here. Or maybe that was before with the werewolf
I
one. Well, around the time with the Boo Brothers or yada yada.
Yeah, I think that was part of the Reluctant Werewolf. I think you're trying to think of Alien Invaders because that was also part of
No,
that era.
no, Alien Invaders. I like. Oh, okay, okay. It's my time to shine for Alien Invaders. So, ladies and gentlemen, as Philip has perfectly described to you, Zombie Island, I will fail at Alien Invaders because it's been well over a decade since I've seen that movie. But we used to have this movie on VHS. I am very certain that it came in one of those special plastic, almost binder like VHS cases
Yep,
that
yep.
all of the Disney VHS movies had. Like it was special. But man, this movie would have an impact on me that I would discover many years later, and I would be like, oh yeah, I know where this came from. Because uh I like alien women. And I attribute this movie to why I like alien women. Blue alien women in particular. Yeah, I blame this movie. Very much so. And this movie has proven to me that Shaggy can get it.
Shaggy, as he's existed, he has pulled a lot of ass
He
throughout the
has.
years.
He has. Aliens, Velma, etc. And so can
Hot
Scoob.
dog.
Scoob can pull freaking golden retrievers.
Alien golden retrievers,
Alien
man.
golden retrievers. And now some of the most significant parts of this movie that's kind of lingering in my memory is this part in the opening where Shaggy and Scooby are chasing after an antelope in like the Mojave for some reason. Like I don't remember. I just remember that happened.
You mean the jackalope?
The
The
jackalope.
jackalope.
That's right. The jackalope, not the antelope. The transformation scenes, where the aliens go from human to alien, and then Shaggy and Scooby being like, "Fucking monsters, dude! Scoob got fucking monsters!" And I remember crying to the ending where they're leaving Earth. I was like, "No, don't go. They love you."
No.
I was like really little at the time. I just felt very emotional about that movie. It's been so long since I've watched it. I gotta sit down and watch it again. It's a classic for me. Aside from the James Gunn written films, I think that has to be like a very significant and notable Scooby-Doo film to me that I consider to be like very important. Not just because alien women, but because it's one of my favorite Scooby-Doo films. And while Scooby-Doo may not be like my most favorite franchise or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, Scooby-Doo was there in my childhood, and that's just one of the movies that I really liked.
Right. We'll probably end up doing like a watch party on the main channel. I think that'd be a lot of fun for some of those like that era of Scooby Doo movies.
Yeah,
Like to cover in more detail at a later point.
hopefully. But yeah,
Yeah.
like that era of Scooby-Doo movies was iconic, and I'm glad that it's kind of stuck around a little bit. And now this is the Matthew Lillard era that we're in right now, and some things have definitely changed, like animation style and budget and everything. Like Scooby-Doo was a franchise that was successful once again because of like some of these direct-to-video movies and the shows that they were starting to put out again. Like I think there were some that came out before Mystery Inc. Is that right, Philip?
Yes. So basically like actually same year that the James Gunn first movie came out, 2002, the What's New Scooby Doo came out that same year, and that kind of kickstarted all the like direct to DVD movies that we have. That is like a long fucking list. And all Shaggy is voiced all by Matthew Leonard in that era. So like, yeah, is there any particular like one that you want to talk about, or do you want to like
Now, I haven't seen much of. Well, I've watched Mystery Inc. Like that was my Scooby Doo show because that was what was on Cartoon Network when we were mainly watching it. And that was during the era where Cartoon Network had the more mature cartoons going on, like Regular Show, Adventure Time, Symbiotic Titan, Generator Rex, Ben 10, where he's like a much older teenager.
yeah.
Yeah, like the 2010s era where they also threw fucking total drama into the mix too. But
Yeah, this is an era more for specifically like preteens going into like early teenage, like much more mature content.
yeah. So this was definitely like an interesting period for Scooby Doo, I would say. And I'm definitely more familiar with this era of Scooby Doo than I am with any other. And I think it's pretty good. I think it's beloved by the not just the modern fans, but maybe some of the older fans too. I mean, we have iconic lines such as Fred about to be getting put in a pool of tapioca. So there's that. That's in the show,
Right.
and they're
That
And there,
That wasn't part of Mystery Incorporated, right? That was part of like What's New Scooby Doo.
no, that's Mystery Incorporated.
Oh, that is Mystery Incorporated. Oh,
Yep,
okay.
I'm pretty sure. And Mystery Incorporated had a couple of like special hour long or multi part episodes that you just had to be like, oh, you just had to be there like every night where it's like, oh my god, they're coming out with another like hour long Scooby Doo episode. This is gonna be
Yeah.
fantastic. Like the one where Shaggy gets hypnotherapy to become like braver
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
tougher and stronger, and the word bad is what puts him into this state but also takes him out of it. So even when he thinks of the word bad, it takes him out of it. And one of the significant things about this was like not just the setting where they're in some like freaking Wild West town of some sort and there's like desert races, but there's also like a red T-Rex ghost that they have to figure out mystery about.
Oh yeah, the Legend of the Phanosaur or something like
I
that. I
believe
think that's what that was
so.
called.
I believe that's what it was called. But that came out that
This
came on Cartoon Network like many weekends in a row and I remember watching it like each time being like, "Oh yeah, this is fucking cool."
And I think that's where the fucking Ultra Instinct Shaggy came from as well. Like
Huh.
Shaggy only using 1% of his like all of his power. I think that's where that originated from too.
Maybe. But yeah, I there were some interesting storylines and story arcs in Mystery Incorporated too, like one that deals with like a gang that's adjacent to Mystery Incorporated, but they were in the past. Like they're the gang
Oh yeah.
before the gang and they had like this really hyper intelligent owl that became like a looming antagonist of the story.
And there were also for some reason Nazi fucking robots that
What?
do you remember that? Do you remember that part with the like the
No.
robots? Yeah,
No.
okay, well, yeah. Yeah.
I remember there was like after each mystery they solved, they would head back to this recording studio in Crystal Cove and just basically talk about it. And I think there was something mysterious about the lady who was like running the whole entire recording studio and recording their stories or whatever. I think there was something nefarious going on with her character, but I just don't remember because I didn't. While I caught
She,
episodes of the show, I didn't watch all of it.
she actually was one of the members of the pre team before the mystery. Like she was one of the
Oh,
original. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. This
So it was
was
just something
like
mysterious, not nefarious. Okay.
yeah. I think it was really cool that like Mystery Incorporated could show that like Scooby Doo could have continuity and do it in the right way that made you like want to come back for more and still have that old kind of like that old formula still though too to like the what people really love about Scooby Doo, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just think they did a fantastic job and even though, they still also made fun of Scrappy Doo in that iteration too. It's like, listen, we don't talk about him.
Well, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was during the time of Mystery Incorporated. There were also a bunch of other movies, direct-to-video movies, especially ones that had crossovers, like with the WWE or Kiss.
Oh yeah.
And that was kind of about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it got a little weird sometimes with some of the things. And then, even though I haven't gotten to this episode yet, but I am in the season, they would have over on Supernatural a crossover with Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated in
Oh
season
really?
13 of Supernatural. Yeah, Sam and Dean get
That's
teleported into the TV show, and Castiel gets teleported in a little later too. And Dean is like, I know everything that's gonna happen in this episode, Sam. Trust me. But then it turns out that like there's something infecting this episode too, and an actual murder happens in the haunted house that they go to, and Dean is like, it's like, oh crap. But it's like any attempt to keep Because Dean the whole time is trying to shush Sam and is like, no, is basically like, no, they're innocent. Don't tell them anything of the real world. Just keep them in their own innocent little bubble. Let them solve their mysteries or whatever. But until somebody gets murdered, Dean is like, there's no point. It's a lost
Yeah.
cause. Sam, they know. They know now. They know what death is.
Yeah.
There's a good chunk of it on YouTube that you can watch, especially in like a shorts form that I found. Really funny. Absolutely love it. Like, because they're in a cartoon world, Dean can fit like the monstrous sandwich that Shaggy and Scooby usually make into his mouth. And he's like, Sam, look what I can do with my mouth. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have like a lot of memorable moments like before Mystery Incorporated with all the like direct to DVD movies like Chill Out Scooby Doo, which dealt with like the Yeti, the Loch Ness Monster, and what's another really great one? I can't think of it right now, but like there's a lot of good ones out there that like deal with like the real monster, right? Or like they might not think that the monster is real, right? But like turns out that maybe it is real. And there were returning characters during that iteration. Like I think there's this guy called Neil or whatever. I know he's introduced in like the Loch Ness Monster episode where he's kind of like that hippie kind of like guy who believe like conspiracy theorist guy, and he actually shows up a couple different times again
Hmm.
throughout the series as well. So like there might not have been like major continuity in like most of all the other previous iterations before Mystery Incorporated, but there was a little bit of it here and there.
Yeah.
Um, so
Also,
yeah.
also, the Scooby-Doo Batman Brave and the Bold crossover, which hopefully, if the video won't get flagged by Warner Brothers, we did do a video reacting to that alongside the Batman vs. Dracula, which will be up today on Halloween on my main channel. So we got a little companion piece, and it's been like the most recent of anything relating to the Scooby-Doo cartoons that I've watched in a long time. And I know we like tried to give our thoughts on it by the end, but your phone was like dying, and
Yeah.
I basically said that it was like just kind of like an average mid-tier Batman movie, but I couldn't really rank it as a Scooby-Doo film. But I think that like, I don't know, it's really weird because it's like more Batman Brave and the Bold than it's Scooby-Doo, essentially. Like there's more Batman stuff going on, and as like a crossover, I think it's pretty good. But as like a Scooby-Doo adventure, it's like, yeah.
Right.
And I don't think you really got to finish your thoughts on that movie, but if you would like to finish your thoughts here, you can absolutely do that now.
I really don't have too many thoughts for like the Brave and the Bold. It's just like I would consider it more of a Batman movie than they're just kind of
Yeah.
like it's like a Batman movie with a cameo of like Scooby Doo, right? And like again, I feel so bad because like I almost feel like Daphne, Fred, and Velma are all just kind of there, and it's like, oh, we're just waiting for Scooby and Shaggy to say something fucking funny, you know?
They all have their parts to play in the in the crossover, I will say. Even though like what is it? Like Velma and Mr. Chimp have like a rivalry going on at one point because their intelligence starts to like fight each other. And then
Right.
Fred is simping for Black Canary. And
Oh my God,
he's
yeah.
basically like, fuck Daphne, I'm going with this blonde bimbo over here, yeah. In like one of the subplots is that Aquaman is trying to get into the like the Batman's detective club with all these other heroes that are also considered detectives, like Martian Manhunter, Mr. Chimp, Plastic Man, and Black Canary. Oh, and the Question. Can't forget the Question. But yeah, it's like you said, Philip. It's more Batman Brave and the Bold rather than Scooby Doo. And as a guy who likes Batman Brave and the Bold, I do like it more as Batman Brave and the Bold than Scooby Doo. But it's still nice that like, even though when we initially talked about it a while ago, I was like, why the hell did they resurrect Batman Brave and the Bold for a freaking Scooby-Doo crossover, which they also did with Courage the Cowardly Dog, by the way, people. But
Right.
but after watching it, I was like, that's pretty fun. It's pretty harmless, pretty all right, not that bad. Yeah, it feels so weird to be like, yeah, we'll resurrect your old favorite childhood shows for a Scooby Doo crossover. Like, what an
Or Scooby Doo
what an
crossover, yeah.
what an odd compromise that in theory works and in execution works, but at the same time it's like you're really gonna resurrect Courage the Cowardly Dog for a Scooby Doo crossover.
Listen, it's kind of like splashing the blood on a person that needs immortality, right? So like that is how like Scooby-Doo remains even to this day in the year of our Lord 2025. They have to do a crossover with other franchises, whether they're dead or still alive right now. So Scooby-Doo has a reason to continue.
Like how I think we bring it up in our Batman double feature video, if it'll ever see the light of day.
Yeah.
In that video, people, we Philip goes on this long tangent about Hanna-Barbera, and it is interesting. Even while it detracts from the movie that we're watching, it is actually an interesting topic that we might just do a whole podcast about if Philip like does a huge deep dive into Hanna-Barbera. But one thing I do bring up is like in relation to resurrecting old stuff for crossovers, they had the audacity to resurrect the Jetsons for a WWE crossover.
Yeah, which is wild.
That is wild. Like the Jetsons have had nothing for decades. Like they haven't been relevant since like I don't know, they were canceled. Something else to bring up. They don't even get the live action movie treatment like some other legacy titles like The Flintstones, Yogi Bear, or even one thing you mentioned like Josie and the Pussycats got like a live action movie too.
Yeah.
And like an adult live action movie, and it's like wow, you brought back the Jetsons for WWE. It's like how they brought back Surf's Up for WWE, and that movie was total ass. Like Warner Brothers must be very desperate for money if they keep doing this. And I know that like Surf's Up is Sony, but you get the picture, people. But yeah, I think like the best of these crossovers, aside from Batman, has been Kiss. Like that has to be like
Right.
it's between WWE and Kiss for being like the most random crossover, but it's like I guess Kiss is freaky enough for Scooby Doo.
Also, just real quick, rest in peace, Ace Farley. He was one of the members of Kiss. He died, I think, either yesterday or this morning,
Oh really?
as was reported. Yeah,
Oh no!
I think he was 74 years old, and I think he died from like, I think he had bleed. He had like a fall recently or something like that, and there was an undetected bleeding in his brain, and I think he died
Oh
from that.
no! That's sad. That sucks.
Yeah. So,
Rest in peace.
rest in peace, my boy.
Rest in peace.
Spaceman's gone.
But yeah,
But yeah,
that's sad. But yeah, like
uh,
nowadays, like I think we're looking through the list of movies, but I don't really know what's going on for shows. Like I know that there was Velma, like that show
and
existed.
and there was Scoob there for a while too,
Yeah,
I
there was the
think.
movie. There was also like the live action Cartoon Network movies, like one with like the basically the creature from Black Lagoon at like a New
Um,
England lighthouse area
right, right. Yeah, I remember those.
was like the I think that was the second one, and then the first one was like the gang meeting each other at school and solving a mystery at their school. I remember that, and
Yeah.
it's the quality of a live action TV movie. I'll say that.
I'm surprised. One thing I am surprised about like the Scooby-Doo media is like I think they've only had only like one, maybe two games. I'm surprised they didn't have more like video games based around Scooby-Doo, even though it's kind of like probably a little difficult to make a video game out of that, but like there's been a lot of cool mystery solving games that they could make it more like dark, I
Mm.
guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, I remember there being a Wii game that somebody brought over to our old house one day, and we played it a little bit. Don't remember who these people were, but they brought it and we played it. And just to shout it out for my namesake, there were Lego sets of Scooby Doo at one point, which are now worth quite a lot of money because of their rarity.
Right.
So I think that's about it. Kind of hope to see Scooby Doo back again at some point in the future in like some great capacity, but in the current state, I don't think Scooby Doo really has the opportunity to get some of that old life breathed into it. Like, I think the era of Mystery Incorporated and that era of direct-to-video movies is just about done. You know, new unpopular direction has been brought into play.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything like, I mean, it's been around since 1969 and still hangs on to this day. So I don't think we've seen the last of it definitely for the foreseeable future, unless they're like, yeah, it's just gonna be gone. But like, you also have to ask the question too of anyone probably younger than us what Scooby Doo is. You know, they probably don't really know like a lot of the younger kids probably just don't know what Scooby Doo is anymore, which is sad to think about. But like, I mean, with every great piece of media, it does have to end at some point, you know, or it just ends up becoming like The Simpsons, you know? It still holds a very nice place in my heart. And like, I will have to say that, like, you know, oh God, it's 15 years since fucking Mystery Incorporated came out. God, I feel so old when I say that now. But like, if that can come out like basically like what 50 years after the first initial Scooby-Doo episode came out in 1969, I feel like there's more opportunity to do stuff like that, you know, with the Scooby-Doo franchise or some way to like revive it in a way. So like I don't think we've seen the last of it, but are we going to see it anytime soon? Hell no. But at least we have a lot of content that we can watch individually, like
Yay.
episode by episode,
Oh,
you know?
boy. I always wanted to watch all 600 episodes of Scooby Doo.
And 40 movies. Yeah, me too.
Yay. Even the bad ones.
And even the bad ones. But,
Oh,
you
oh,
know,
let's not forget the original movie moniker on every single direct to
oh
video
my
movie.
fucking God.
Ladies
Yeah,
and
like,
gentlemen,
so,
I lost my fucking mind going through this Wikipedia list and looking at the covers and seeing original movie below every title. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Why is everything
right.
subtitled with original movie? It's like yes, what do we call this? The Dark Knight Rises original movie. What do we call
Original,
this? Oppenheimer original movie. All right,
original
what do we call
movie.
this? Godzilla. The third time we call
Oh,
this Godzilla original movie.
what do we call the original movie?
Original
Original
movie.
movie.
I swear to fucking God. And then they eventually stopped doing it like a couple of years ago, and I'm like, thank fuck.
One other thing that I forgot to mention when talking about Scrappy Doo. So basically, Hanna-Barbera said that they will cancel Scooby-Doo forever if they are to ever make an iteration again where Scrappy Doo is like a main character again. Like obviously they
Holy
can make
shit.
fun of him, but they just can't have him as a main character ever again, or it will be canceled. It's literally written in law. Like they got it notarized. So like
We
Hanna
passed an
Barbera, I mean,
amendment. No more Scrappy
literally.
Doo.
So basically, it's like, you know, by law, the show has to be canceled if that is like happens. So
Oh my
interesting
God.
fact, and that's what happens when you make a shitty ass fucking character.
Never again. Never again.
Original movie.
Man, can you imagine for Batman if it's like, if you include Batmite in any capacity, your comic run will be canceled? I think
Original
I think that's
movie.
why Batman the Brave and the Bold got canceled. They had one too many episodes with Batmite in it.
Yeah.
I don't think Batmite's the worst character, but yeah. But is that about it, Philip? Is that our discussion
I
on
think that
Scooby-Doo for Halloween?
I think that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode because like I feel like this is the most research I've done for any of these podcast episodes. And like I gotta say, it was kind of a fun experience to get to learn all about the ins and outs. Like obviously, again, I haven't watched every single episode of every iteration of Scooby Doo, but like I said in the beginning, if you guys would like to have us cover a specific episode or movie and just talk about it or make a stupid fucking video on it, let us know, like, because like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of shit to like for us to cover if you wish us to do so. Yeah. Any final thoughts, William?
Uh, I can definitely say that. Well, I guess I can't say anything. Because my brain's farted. I really got nothing more to say on Scooby Doo, but I do have more to say about the podcast and its future. Next month, we have already decided our next episode for November, which will be covering the Alien franchise. And I have already been taking my own notes as well, writing down interesting topics about each movie, general topics all around. So if you are interested in seeing the Alien episode that will come out next month in November, and then at the end of that episode, who knows what's next because it's decided at the spin of a wheel. And then in December, we might do a more casual episode where we, including our friend Liz, if she's interested, might sit down and just casually talk about some of the things we've been reading, a little reunion of our old book club that we had off screen a long time ago.
Indeed.
But yes, and there might be a big episode in the near future, one that I am going to put some major research into, and hopefully it'll turn out good, and it'll probably be a multi-part episode depending on how long it gets. But this one I'm definitely going to try to go not too deep into, but deep. I'd say deep. I'm not going to say what it is just yet, but I'm very excited to get to that episode at some point in the future. And I know that Philip is also in anticipation for this episode too, because he knows how much I've been wanting to do it for a while now.
Indeed.
Cause
And
it,
honestly, it'll probably be a very I think that like there have been like definitely episodes where we have talked about stuff and it's just like I wouldn't say we're not necessarily passionate about it, but like you could like with how much research I did for the Scooby-Doo episode, like you could see how passionate I was about it and like how long it is. So like
yeah,
like I think definitely some of these future episodes will be very much longer. So just maybe prepare yourselves for that. But
yeah,
maybe you guys like it. Maybe you love hearing our voice in the background while you do something. You
yeah.
know.
And
So
and this episode I'm working on, definitely something I'm very passionate about. Newfound passion from a couple of years back. And oh boy, there is a lot to cover depending on what I do want to cover, from behind the scenes stuff to fun facts and lore and blah blah blah. So yeah, and I feel like the Alien episode might be more of a general discussion and discussing interesting topics and not necessarily going too deep in anything like the story or anything, but we'll see what happens. But for now, thank you all for listening to the Bricked Up Podcast, building your algorithm brick by brick, and happy Halloween. I'm gonna go take a fucking shower. Goodbye.
original movie.
Original podcast. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Woo.
Raggy.
Like zoinks! Jinkies! Jeepers!
Jeep Grand Cherokee.